Hi everyone, welcome to the CAISTROLOGY channel. My name is Kaylin and today I'm going to be covering your February 2025 predictions for all 12 zodiac signs. So you can watch your horoscope for your Ascendant, Sun and Moon sign, and I'll be using tropical Western astrology. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook if you're wanting more frequent updates over there. And lastly, before we get into the horoscopes today, for those of you who don't know, my 2025 yearly horoscopes are now available for purchase, and each horoscope is 2 to 2.5 hours long, so they really are jam-packed with information for what you can expect for 2025. But without further ado, let's now get into the Aries horoscope. Hi Aries, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. The month starts off with a major activation to your 12th house, which is Pisces. So on the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world, we're going to have Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees. Then on the 3rd of February, Venus will conjunct the North Node at 29 degrees Pisces in your 12th house. And we do have other activations to your 12th house as well, as we're going to have the Neptune North Node conjunction, which is kickstarting off a new 16-year cycle for you, which is happening on the 23rd of February. And then on the last day of the month, we've got a new moon in Pisces in your 12th house. So the 12th house is heavily activated for you for the entirety of February. So in terms of what to expect, over the course of February, March and April, in the short term, but then even 12 months in the long term, you're going to be starting something new as it relates to the 12th house that involves Venusian, Neptunian, and Piscean themes. So this can see you finding immense enjoyment as you explore your natural gifts and talents of an artistic kind or even an intuitive kind as well. You may feel called to surrender a relationship as you head into February and maybe even into March as well. But for others of you, this can see you working really hard at letting go of, let's say, pressure points or pain points in your close personal relationships. And I say this because of the influence of Venus. On a different note, this can see you acknowledging the love that you do have for someone or something in your life that is very important to you. So this may be a bit of a revelation as you come to realize just how much you care about someone in your life, or you care about something that you are passionate about. So on a different note, you will be guided over the course of February and March as well to assess what it is that you overindulge in, okay? Because Venus represents where we can overindulge, and Neptune in the 12th house is all about having no boundaries and no limitations. So for some of you, this can see you looking at the ways in which you may self-medicate or self-soothe. But on a different note, there can be a big focus for you on the 12th house themes such as yoga, meditation, healing, rest, or even creative works and pursuits such as writing, poetry, photography, filmography, and music. So this will be a time period where you are deeply reflective and introspective. So again, this is over the course of February and even going into March as well. So on the 4th of February, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aries. So it's going to be transiting your first house for the next 7 weeks. So it is in its pre-shadow retrograde period as of the 29th of January. So the pre-shadow retrograde period will be from the end of January and then all throughout February. Okay, so whatever is transpiring in the month of February is going to give you a bit of a precursor or a glimpse into what it is will be your primary focus as you move into March. In any case, having Venus transit your first house can indicate that you are focusing on your appearance, your diet, how you dress, how you present. So this can be how you walk, how you talk, your wardrobe, and also there's a big focus for you on love and romance and relationships. And this doesn't just have to be romantic relationships. This can be your collaborations as well, whether this is with friends, clients, and co-workers, and so on and so forth. So Venus rules over your 7th house, which is why there's this focus on relationships and collaborations, but it also rules over your 2nd house, which is related to your diet, your finances, and your resources. So there will be a big focus for you on how you nourish yourself, what your personal values are, and on trying to elevate your self-esteem and to be true to yourself and be true to these personal values that you hold. Also on the 4th of February, Jupiter is going to station direct in Gemini at 11 degrees in your 3rd house. So you may want to look at what has taken place over the last 4 months in terms of what you've been trying to advance in or trying to progress in. Because with Jupiter having been retrograde for the last 4 months, since the 10th of October, this can indicate where you've wanted to move forward, but you may have felt like you don't have the education necessary or the help necessary. Or maybe you've just felt like luck hasn't been on your side with Jupiter being retrograde. But come the 4th of February, with Jupiter being direct once more, and Jupiter's going to be direct for the rest of its time in Gemini. So that is until the 9th of June. This can see you now having momentum and feeling like you've got the green light from the universe when it comes to 3rd house themes, such as your educational studies, diplomas, short courses, content creation, communications pieces that you're working on. Maybe you're picking some studies back up, or you're receiving approval for enrollment into an education course or for some kind of diploma, or perhaps this is for an apprenticeship, or maybe you're finishing off an apprenticeship. On a different note, this can see you being approved when it comes to some kind of license or registration. Also, the 3rd house relates to siblings, extended relatives, friends, clients, sales, and it's also, let's say, a business house. So this can see there being a smoothing over of relationships, or feeling like you and these other individuals are now on the same team. You're able to advance things forward and come together. Just remember that Jupiter in Gemini is sextiling you. So at the end of the day, this is a positive, harmonious aspect that you are experiencing as an Aries. So on the 12th or the 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, we are going to have a full moon in Leo. So this will be at 24 degrees and it will be in your 5th house. So if you have a look up here on the screen, I've got the full moon chart up for you. And if you see those thick red lines, they represent the opposition that the full moon is making to Mercury in Aquarius, and the moon and the sun and Aquarius are both making this tight T-square to Uranus in Taurus. So straight off the bat, let me just say that this full moon is trining you as an Aries sun, moon, or rising. So this is a positive, harmonious aspect, especially if you are an Aries individual around 24 degrees, or even, let's say, 19 to 29 degrees if we give it a 5-degree orb. But if you have a look at that T-square, again with those thick red lines, that represents that there is a tension and a frustration to this full moon energy, which will be with us for a good 1 to 2 weeks before and after the full moon. Okay, so we are sort of under the influence of this full moon for most of February. So essentially, with the full moon taking place in your 5th house, this can indicate that there is some kind of conclusion being reached, or realization or epiphany or event, let's say, that connects to your love life. So love, romance, passion, sex, dating, these are 5th house themes. So what is coming up for you may be kind of unexpected. There may be, let's say, someone revealing their feelings to you that could be unexpected, or maybe you're realizing that you have feelings for another person and this could take you by surprise. On a different note, the 5th house does relate to children and pregnancy. So this could be a surprise pregnancy for some of you, but also the 5th house represents your first child's first house. So this could indicate that perhaps your child or one of your children is maybe making decisions or life choices that you find to be quite surprising, or this can just be like a bit of tension with them or a bit of an outburst that is unexpected. On a different level, the 5th house represents your creative gifts and talents as well as your own business. So if you own your own business, there may be an unexpected event or occurrence that you have to contend with or deal with, and this could really come quite out of the blue. It could relate to some backlash on social media or in terms of, let's say, the consumers of your business or your product. But on a different note, this could indicate that you may be launching something or releasing something that relates to your business, and maybe you feel like it's a little bit premature or it's taking a bit of a risk, but you're like, no, I just need to do this and I just need to get it done. I repeat, this full moon is trining you, and also even though it's not shown on the screen, take note that the full moon is actually making a trine to Chiron at 19, is that 19 degrees? Yeah, 19 degrees. And this is in Aries, this is in your 1st house. So whatever is happening around this time, or whatever this full moon is ushering in, it really is for your best and highest good. So on the 23rd of February, this is when the Neptune and North Node conjunction in Pisces will take place at 28 degrees in your 12th house. We've already discussed the energy of the 12th house in Pisces and its influence over your life in your 12th house. But just a note that this conjunction only takes place every 16 to 17 years, and the next one will be in 2041. So in February, possibly more towards the end of the month, you may be starting something new, or you may have a download, let's say an intuitive download for your vision for your future, or something that you want to manifest into your life. And this could be the beginning of a new 16-year chapter for you. On the 24th of February, Mars, which is your ruling planet, is going to station direct at 17 degrees in your 4th house. So that means that for pretty much most of February, it's still retrograde. So this can indicate that there have been tensions that have been bubbling up to the surface with your family, maybe your parents, your children, or flatmates, or there could have been some intense frustrations when it comes to your property and living circumstances, especially if you're in the midst of a relocation or renovations to your house. But from the 24th of February onwards, Mars is direct. So this means that this area of your life, or these tensions or these frustrations, can really start to calm down. But in saying this, the post shadow period will continue until early May. So that's when you'll really be out of the woods. But given that Mars is your ruling planet, you're going to feel a lot better once Mars is direct from the 24th of February onwards. So lastly for the month, on the 28th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees, and it will be in your 12th house. As you can see here, it is conjunct Saturn, it's conjunct Mercury and the North Node and Neptune as well. Let's make that a little bit larger. So ultimately, this is not a new moon that's making a major aspect to you, but because of this heavy concentration of planets and the energy of your 12th house being activated, does indicate that something new is taking place in your life. So this can see you putting into place or trying to, let's say, refine what your higher ideals are. What are your higher principles? Maybe you're needing to set boundaries in your life or be really disciplined in some way, especially with this conjunction to Saturn. This can see you planting the seeds or taking that first step towards something that's related to the 12th house. Maybe this is going on a retreat or starting a retreat. You might be organizing it yourself. Or this could be you looking at trying to relocate to a foreign, faraway place. This new moon is making a beautiful trine. All of this Pisces energy is trining Mars, your ruling planet, in Cancer. So something special is occurring in February. Some kind of new chapter is starting that is going to yield positive results for you. In any case, this can also see you focusing on perhaps yoga, meditation, your intuition, or some kind of creative project that is related to writing, poetry, photography, filmography, or perhaps music. And this can also be a time where you are getting heavily involved with charities or non-for-profits of some kind. So, Aries, that's all I have for you for your February 2025 horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And also, Aries, just a reminder that my 2025 yearly horoscopes are available for sale. They're about 2 to 2.5 hours long each, and with your one, it is well worth the investment because I do a big segment on Saturn entering Aries, which is a new 29.5-year cycle for you, and Neptune entering Aries for the first time in 165 years. So Aries, thank you so much for watching. Wishing you a blessed February 2025, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Hi Taurus, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. February is a pivotal month for us Taurians. Yes, I'm a Taurus Sun myself. And the reason for that is that the whole month of February, Venus will be in its pre-shadow retrograde phase. And on top of that, we've got Venus making some important conjunctions at the very beginning of the month. So on the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to conjunct Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees in your 11th house. And it will form this conjunction again in late March. Then on the 3rd of February, Venus will conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees in your 11th house. And this conjunction will occur another 2 times in April. And really your 11th house is lit right up because we've also got a Neptune North Node conjunction later in the month and a new moon in Pisces in your 11th house. So ultimately, with the 11th house being so activated by the astrology of pretty much all of February and even some of March as well, with the Venus and Mercury retrograde that we're going to see there, this is beneficial for you because it is sextiling you as a Taurus Sun, Moon, or Rising. So the Taurians who are going to benefit the most from this sextile will be those from about 24 degrees through till 29 degrees Taurus. In any case, this focus on your 11th house means that what is going to be front and center for you will be, what are my long-term goals and dreams for the future? What is my vision for my future? What projects do I want to work on? What does my community look like? Do I want to start a new community? Do I want to leave a community? Do I want to form one and, possibly even be at the helm of that? On a different level, the 11th house relates to your passive and residual forms of income, and it can also represent gains such as rewards, accolades, and even lump sums of money. So these areas, these topics, these themes will be what you are focused on for pretty much most of February, and again, even going into March and perhaps even April too. Ultimately, Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces, and we are going to have a Venus retrograde in Aries and Pisces when we move into March. So moving along with the horoscope, on the 4th of February, Venus, your ruling planet, is going to leave the sign of Pisces, and it's going to enter the sign of Aries, and it will be in Aries for the next 7 weeks, which includes its retrograde phase. With your chart ruler being in the 12th house, this indicates that this is what your primary focus is going to be on. When I say primary focus, obviously I've said that for the 11th house, so maybe we can rephrase that to dual focus on the 11th house and the 12th house as it relates to February. So this can see you focusing on things like yoga, meditation, retreats, healing, your intuitive abilities. Maybe you're going to be getting more into astrology or looking at exploring other divinatory tools and practices, whether this is you being on the receiving end of those or looking at learning them for yourself. On a different note, there'll be a big focus for you on rest and relaxation. So this is a time where you may need more downtime. You may need to be by yourself more and have more time out. And because Venus rules over your 6th house, this can see you needing to take some time off of work in order to focus on these 12th house themes, which again are healing, rest, or perhaps you're going to be focusing on some kind of creative project, and this could relate to poetry, creative writing, this could relate to film, photography, acting. And on a different note, maybe you're going to just be focusing on introspective work, introspective healing for yourself, and looking at overcoming unhealthy habits, unhealthy ways of being, or self-soothing, or trying to overcome an addiction. That's another way that you could be harnessing the energy of Venus in your 12th house. Also on the 4th, we're going to have Jupiter stationed direct in Gemini in your 2nd house at 11 degrees. So now that Jupiter is direct, after having spent 4 months being retrograde in your 2nd house, this can see you gaining momentum, or feeling like you're getting the green light when it comes to your finances and your resources. And with Jupiter having been retrograde in your 2nd house for the last 4 months since early October, this could have somehow capped your income or your ability to make money. On a different note, Jupiter being direct here can see you starting to make money from something that you have been putting effort into over the last 4 months. On a different note, the 2nd house does relate to diet, food, farming, and our relationship to self and our self-esteem. So perhaps you have been learning about farming, or trying to teach yourself how to cook, or educate yourself on things like nutrition and finances and resources and money management in general. So you may feel like you have now reached some kind of threshold of, let's say, knowledge or education when it relates to these themes. On the 12th or 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, we are going to see the full moon in Leo in your 4th house take place. So this is going to occur at 24 degrees. And as you can see here, the moon will be opposing Mercury in Aquarius, and it's making this big T-square, very tight T-square, to Uranus in Taurus, and that is at 23 degrees. So full moons are all about the end of a cycle, or something reaching completion or fruition, or something coming to light. Because this is occurring in your 4th house and it makes this tight square to you, to me, this indicates that there may be unexpected events or happenings with respect to your property and living circumstances, your family life, your dynamics with your family, whether these are parents, children, or perhaps even people that you live with. And for some of you, this could indicate that you are going to be relocating or having a change of address and living circumstances, which can come about quite abruptly. And with the energy of this full moon, it will be active for 1 to 2 weeks before and 1 to 2 weeks after the full moon. So pretty much the entirety of February, you are under the influence of this full moon. So on the 23rd of February, Neptune and the North Node will form a conjunction in your 11th house, and this will be at 28 degrees, which is sextiling you. So this is actually indicative of a new 16-year cycle that is taking place. We have already talked at length about the 11th house. So just to recap, this is about your long-term goals and vision for your future. Okay, so this is about your community, passive forms of income, and perhaps even collaborating with other people. Now, on the 24th of February, Mars is going to station direct in Cancer in your third house at 17 degrees, and this is sextiling you. So this energy hasn't been as difficult for you to handle as a Taurus as it may have been for, let's say, the cardinal signs. But in any case, this can indicate that if you've had conflicts or disagreements with siblings, extended relatives, friends, clients, co-workers, these issues can calm down and, eventually peter out as we get further and further away from the 24th of February. So, for pretty much the first 3/4 of the month, this energy still could have been at play for you, but come the end of February, these tensions can dissipate. On a different note, this can see you having a breakthrough when it comes to education, qualifications, communications, whether these are written or oral, and this can be content creation online as well, and business matters can finally advance. So if you've experienced some kind of plateau in your business, then with Mars finally being direct, you can feel like your business is moving forward again and you've got more momentum or more willpower to keep going with some kind of project. And just to give you a bit of a time frame, Mars first entered Cancer back in September 2024, and the retrograde period in Cancer started from the 6th of January in 2025. So it could have even have been on and off since September that you've felt like your relationship with friends, with siblings, or with education studies, or your business has just been up and down, or perhaps you haven't yielded the results that you wanted to in that time. But now, as we approach the end of February, it will be more smooth sailing for you in that respect. On the 28th of February, we've got a new moon occurring in Pisces, and this is going to be at 9 degrees, and it is in your 11th house. So again, there's this focus pretty much the whole month on 11th house themes for you. So new moons are all about planting the seeds, starting something new, starting a new chapter somehow in our lives. So we've already touched on it, but to me, this looks like forming some kind of new long-term goal or vision for your future, or committing to a project, committing to a community goal, maybe starting a community as well, or joining a community. Because of this conjunction to Saturn, it looks like whatever is starting around the new moon in Pisces, which is plus or minus 1 to 2 weeks before or after, this could take you a long time, a lot of effort. It could be related to your career, it could be related to business matters, or something that requires a very heavy level of commitment from you. And I repeat, because this is in the 11th house, this is sextiling you. Okay, so the Taurians who are going to feel this new moon energy the most will be those around 9 degrees. But because of this conjunction to Saturn and Mercury and Neptune as well, it's pretty much look, I'm not even going to put degrees on it. If you feel it, you feel it. And I'd love to know how this is impacting you, fellow Taurians. So thank you so much, Taurus, for tuning into your February horoscope. If you enjoyed this reading, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Also, Taurus, just a quick note, I have released my 2025 yearly horoscopes for sale. So if you're wanting to purchase yours, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, Taurus, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. You, along with the other mutable signs, are one of the most impacted by the astrology of February. So I'm really excited to do a deep dive for you guys, especially because I'm also a Gemini myself. I'm a Gemini rising. So Gemini, the astrological energy that will be the most activated for you will be that of Pisces in your 10th house. So this is all about your public reputation, your career, how you want to be seen, the legacy that you want to create. And this is a time for leveling up for Geminis. And let's just dive into it. First of all, the 10th house energy is squaring you. So we've got Venus, Neptune, and the North Node here. And later in the month, the Sun and Mercury are going to move into your 10th house as well. So the Geminis who are going to be the most heavily activated will be those between about 24 and 29 degrees. So on the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to form a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees, and there will be another conjunction formed between these two planets in late March. Then on the 3rd of February, Venus is going to conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees, and it will do so another 2 times in April. Ultimately, with Venus, Neptune, and the North Node involved in these conjunctions in your 10th house, there's this big focus here on Venusian and Neptunian themes. So this is indicative of you wanting to reinvent yourself, wanting to appear differently, wanting to focus on your higher ideals. Anything that you do that is creative in nature can be very visible around this period of time. Many of you will be going public with a relationship or a collaboration or some kind of business arrangement or client relationship that may have been under wraps for a while, or perhaps it's just a new relationship that's forming, and there could be some kind of, let's say, official capacity that it is entering into, because the 10th house is all about your status and your status in an official way. Okay, so on the 4th of February, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aries in your 11th house. So it will be in its pre-shadow retrograde period for the whole of February, and this means that there's this big focus on your 11th house and its themes for the next 7 weeks, because that's how long Venus will be in Aries, and then it is going to retrograde back into Pisces in late March. So there's this focus on your long-term goals and your dreams for the future, especially as it relates to something that's artistic or creative in your life. This could be about your long-term goals with respect to starting a family or your relationship with your children, or this can be your long-term goals when it comes to your relationship. And I say this because Venus rules over your 5th house. So it's like, are we together? Where are we going? Do we want the same things? On a different note, because Venus rules your 5th house and the 5th house represents owning your own business, this can look like refining your goals or setting important new goals and objectives for your business, especially when it comes to passive and residual forms of income. The 11th house rules over passive and residual forms of income as it is, so this can be a core focus for you over the next, not just 7 weeks, but even through till May, because we do have the post-retrograde shadow period as well on the other side of the retrograde, okay? So lastly, the 11th house rules over your wider network and your community. So this can see you forming a new community or joining a new community. And the 11th house is related to your social media platforms and presence. So you can be thinking very hard about maybe doing a rebrand, actually, because we've got this heavy focus on your 10th house and your 11th house, just in terms of the retrogrades with Venus and Mercury moving into March, as well as this Aries influence and Piscean influence. And not to mention in March, we've got 2 eclipses. So we've got this heavy activation of the houses in your chart, which are very visible, very public, and very active in nature. Also on the 4th of February, Jupiter is going to station direct in Gemini in your first house at 11 degrees. Phew, this is a massive relief for Geminis. I know a lot of us have been experiencing stagnation or just having a lot of energy and not being able to channel that in appropriate ways. So it may have felt like there've just been these roadblocks that have been in getting in the way, really, of what you want to achieve in your career, in your vocation, and also in your personal relationships as well. Why? It's because Jupiter rules over your 10th house, and it also rules over your 7th house. So as we move into early May with Jupiter now being direct over the course of, did I say May? I didn't mean to say May. With Jupiter now being direct as of the 4th of February, the next few months, so between early February and even early June, which is when Jupiter's going to finish up in Gemini, can be where you're making critical, important, long-term decisions about your relationship. Romantic, marriage, business partnerships, client relationships, the services that you offer. Okay, that's one way to look at it. But also with Jupiter ruling over your 10th house, this can be about your career. And this can also be about your property and living circumstances, because we are going to be having eclipses in your 4th house and your 10th house, and all of this is squaring you. So whenever we're looking at the first house, this is really about, what do I want to do? What path do I want to take? What action do I want to take? What do I want to be known for? What's next? And Jupiter is about education, travel, higher knowledge, wisdom, your belief systems, spirituality, religion, politics. All of this stuff can be sort of swirling around in your mind without having these clear channels within which to direct that energy and attention, which is what I just mentioned previously. But come early February, now we can move the needle forward. Now we can advance. We've got the green light from Jupiter to go ahead. And in my personal experience, it's always after Jupiter has finished its retrograde cycle, which, by the way, this one was 4 months. So the last 4 months could have been where you've felt that frustration. So it's after Jupiter finishes its retrograde cycle that we start experiencing the blessings come through into our lives, especially when Jupiter is transiting our first house. So on the 12th or 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, there will be a full moon in Leo, and this is going to be in your 3rd house at 24 degrees. So it's sextiling you, which is positive, but as you can see with these red lines in the image on the screen, it's super tense, I'm not gonna lie. This full moon is opposing Mercury very tightly, which is Gemini's ruling planet. And this is indicative of the, let's say, effects of the full moon. So when it involves our chart ruler, it makes it more potent somehow. And all of this is squaring Uranus and Taurus in the 12th house. So this can unfold as unexpected events and occurrences as it relates to your relationships with siblings, friends, extended relatives, co-workers, or clients. Or this can be unexpected happenings as it relates to business deals, contracts, and sales, or perhaps your travel plans, because we've got the 3rd house, which is local short-term travel, but then we've got Mercury, your ruling planet, which is in the 9th house, which is more international travel. Okay, so, and also the square to Uranus in the 12th house, this is far and far away places. And as I'm looking at this, I'm sort of thinking about myself, because I'm meant to be traveling for a month next month. But anyway, it's not about me, it's about you guys. On a different note, this can see you perhaps having a brainwave or an epiphany when it comes to your short-term education plans. So this could be with diplomas, licenses, registrations, content creation, communications pieces. Maybe you're revealing something or launching something that's a little bit dicey, a little bit risky, and you're not too sure how it's going to be received. Now, on the 14th of February, Mercury is going to enter the sign of Pisces in your 10th house, and then on the 18th, the Sun will enter Pisces in the 10th house as well. So from the 18th of February, we're going to have this heavy concentration and activation of your 10th house. Just thought I would mention it because to me, this is just shining that spotlight on your public status and your public reputation. So anything you do around this time will be very, very noticeable. On the 23rd of February, Neptune is going to conjunct the North Node in Pisces in your 10th house at 28 degrees. So this only happens once every 16 to 17 years, and the next time will be 2041. So some of you may be taking a very important new direction in your life, and this can relate to career, relationships, government status. This can relate to creative works and projects that you put out there, and also anything to do with creativity, healing, intuition. And this is a new 16-year cycle that's starting for you. And of course, I already mentioned the Venus Neptune conjunction and the Venus North Node conjunction at the start of the month. And there's more 10th house activations and Neptunian energy to come. So I have no doubt that in February, March, and April, and even May as well, maybe to a lesser extent, you will be so laser focused on what legacy do I want to create in the world? What direction am I going in? Who do I want to be known as? What do I want to be known for? Am I happy in this career? How can I level up? How can I manifest a life that is more in alignment with me and my ideals and my higher principles? So please do take note of whatever is taking place in the month of February, because I think it's going to be really, really big for Geminis. Now, on the 24th of February, Mars will station direct in your second house at 17 degrees. So this can indicate that once you get to late February, things can slow down when it comes to expenses, a lot of bills, a lot of it's looked like there's been a lot of money that's been leaving the bank account since the start of January, because that's how long Mars has been retrograde in your second house for. So ultimately, this can indicate that you're overcoming conflicts and issues when it relates to your finances, your investments, financial resources, money management, etc., and maybe overcoming stomach issues, abdominal issues, and pain can dissipate because Cancer rules over the stomach, Mars is inflammation, and the second house is food and diet. On a different note, you can now be moving forward with generating a new stream of income or a higher level of income. And lastly, you may have achieved something important that is related to your money management, that is related to your diet, or perhaps gardening, farming, or even just being more assertive when it comes to your personal values. So lastly, for the month, on the 28th of February, we're going to have a new moon in Pisces, and this is going to be at 9 degrees in your 10th house. So again, we've got that activation to the 10th house. So as you can see, this new moon is conjunct Saturn and Mercury. Even though it's a wide conjunction, there's just such a glut of Piscean energy. We've got the moon, the sun, Saturn, Mercury. We've got Neptune here as well. That's 5 planets. And then the North Node. Something is manifesting for us Geminis in the month of February. So this can, again, I repeat, be about reinventing yourself, public status, your reputation, or maybe focused on your morals and your belief systems with Saturn here and this new moon at 9 degrees, which is the Sagittarian degree. There can be a focus here on import and export, or perhaps an opportunity to get published, or a new contract that is coming through. Maybe you are solidifying a new relationship Okay, because this new moon is squaring Jupiter in your first house, and Jupiter rules over your seventh house. So it appears that something very important and perhaps character defining or reputation defining is going to be put into motion in the month of February. And with the energy of this new moon, it will be at play for 1 to 2 weeks before the new moon, and then 1 to 2 weeks after the new moon. So Gemini, thank you so much for watching this horoscope. If you're wanting more content from me and you don't want to wait till March, I've actually got my 2025 yearly horoscopes available for sale. So you can purchase yours by clicking on the link in the description box below. But in any case, Gemini, thank you so much for tuning into your February horoscope. Enjoy the month ahead, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hi Cancer, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. The month starts off with Venus forming a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces in your 9th house at 27 degrees. So this will be occurring on the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world. This conjunction will occur again in late March. On the 3rd of February, so the next day, we've got Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees, and Venus in the North Node will be conjunct another 2 times in April. So even later in the month, we've got the Neptune North Node conjunction in Pisces, and at the very end, we've got a new moon in Pisces in your 9th house. This is very beneficial for Cancers because all of this Piscean energy and activity in the 9th house is forming a trine to you. So some kind of new hope or faith for your life or in a certain situation is going to be restored for you in the month of February, and then even moving into March, and I would say April as well. So ultimately, the 9th house is about your belief systems, whether these are spiritual, religious, political, but then also your belief in how do I think the world even works. That is all signified by the 9th house. And also this pertains to your moral compass and your personal code of ethics. So I do have to say that you may feel like you're facing some kind of moral dilemma in the month of February. But on a different note, the 9th house is related to education, travel, publishing, import and export, and essentially seeing the bigger picture. So this can indicate that you are becoming clearer on your vision for your future, especially if this is about your property and living circumstances, love, relationships, and your family dynamics. And I say this because Venus rules over your 4th house, which represents your family and your property and living circumstances. And Venus rules over love and relationships as well. So some of you may even be finding love abroad or with a foreigner. And on a different note, some of you may be pursuing a higher level of education, maybe stepping into the role of teacher or mentor, or meeting with a very important role model, teacher, or guide in your life. Okay, so on the 4th of February, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aries. So it'll be in your 10th house for the next 7 weeks. But in the month of February, it will be in its pre-shadow period. So this is pre-retrograde shadow energy at play. So this can indicate that you're wanting to focus on who am I in the world, your public image, your appearance. And this can also indicate that you are thinking about making very important decisions that relate to your family, your property and living circumstances, your long-term goals for the future, with Venus ruling over your 11th house, as well as love and relationships. So this is a time where you can be looked upon favorably. So you may be looking at what's next in my career and what is the best way that I can present myself out to the world that is going to have a positive effect on my life. And I don't mean that in a superficial way, because the 10th house is our highest level of responsibility that we can attain. Okay, so this is actually about your legacy and what you want to create for yourself in your life in the future. And this will be a big focus for you over February, March, April, and even some of May as well, because we've got this heavy retrograde energy, the pre-shadow, the retrograde itself, and then the post-shadow period, plus we've got Mercury following almost the exact same trajectory as Venus. Also on the 4th of February, Jupiter will station direct in Gemini, and this will be in your 12th house at 11 degrees. So Jupiter in the 12th house is all about connecting more to your intuition, healing, taking time out for yourself, allowing yourself to rest if you need to rest, relax if you need to relax. And this can also indicate that socializing has taken a bit of a backseat, or perhaps your work life has taken a bit of a backseat. And I say that because Jupiter rules over your 6th house. Okay, so to me, your 6th house being Sagittarius. So this can indicate that you are focusing on healing modalities, the esoteric realms, the fine arts, maybe meditation, yoga, film, photography, perhaps working on a creative project behind the scenes. So you're getting ready to release something out into the world. This can indicate that you're going to be ready to launch when Jupiter is actually in your 1st house. So conjunct your ascendant, or perhaps conjunct your sun or your moon. At the very least, we're sort of waiting until the 9th of June when Jupiter will enter Cancer, which is going to be so chef's kiss for Cancerians, because this is when the biggest blessings are going to come into your life that we see in a 12-year cycle, typically speaking, because that is how long it takes for Jupiter to get through all 12 signs. So Jupiter here in your 4th house can indicate that over the last 4 months, you've been overcoming self-limiting beliefs, overcoming blockages, successfully dealing with fears and insecurities and things coming up in your shadow self or your shadow side. And also, after Jupiter is direct, this can indicate that your health can actually improve, or you can experience a significant healing in your life. For some of you, this will be on a physical level because Jupiter rules over the 6th house. But for others of you, this can be on a spiritual level with Jupiter ruling the 9th house, or on an emotional level. So on the 12th or 13th of February, we're going to have a full moon in Leo, and this is going to be in your 2nd house at 24 degrees. So it is making this tense opposition to Mercury in Aquarius, in your 8th house, as well as a tense square from Mercury and the moon to Uranus in Taurus, and that is in your 11th house. So to me, this full moon looks like unexpected events occurring, unexpected happenings that are quite surprising, that maybe take you off guard. So this can be unexpected expenses, changes to your income, your finances, your resources, perhaps eating something that doesn't agree with you with the full moon in your 2nd house, because the 2nd house rules over your diet. So just be mindful of not accidentally consuming something that you are allergic to. On a different note, this can indicate that you are having a real sudden shift when it comes to your personal values, your self-esteem, how you nourish yourself. And the term that comes to mind is rude awakening, but it's in a good way, because look, we've got Saturn in Pisces trining Mars in Cancer in your 1st house. So to me, it's like, oh my God, what have I been doing? Why have I been denying myself this? Or why have I been consuming this diet? It's like a wake-up call is the term that's also coming to mind. A rude awakening and a wake-up call where it's like, I need to respect myself more. I need to respect my body more. I need to focus more on my diet, my finances, my income, and, put in the hard work to ensure that I'm going to have the kind of future that I want to have. Because don't get me wrong, Saturn trining Mars is all about putting in that hard work and wanting to stabilize something in your life and create a very firm, very solid foundation. So the energy of this full moon can be with you 1 to 2 weeks before the full moon occurs and 1 to 2 weeks after. So it's sort of like a kind of the whole month of February, we're going to be experiencing that energy. So on the 14th and the 18th of February, respectively, Mercury and the Sun are going to enter the sign of Pisces. So now we've got this massive trine that is happening from your 9th house to Cancer in your 1st house, and even to Mars in Cancer at that. So we've got, let's see, Mercury, the Sun, Neptune, Saturn, and the North Node. So there's such a heavy concentration of this energy that's trining you. So you're going to feel like things are getting a lot easier as we progress through the month, and especially as we get to the end of the month. In any case, though, on the 23rd of February, Neptune will form a conjunction with the North Node in Pisces in your 9th house at 28 degrees. This only happens once every 16 to 17 years, and the next one is in 2041. So this is a new 16-year cycle that is taking place. We've already focused a lot on what the 9th house energy means, but essentially this can be a new chapter when it comes to travel, maybe relocating abroad or even interstate as well. This can indicate there's a new chapter starting with education, teaching, mentorship, also your higher principles, your belief systems, whether these are religious, spiritual, political, etc., or maybe even looking at getting published. So on the 24th of February, Mars will finally be direct in the sign of Cancer in your 1st house at 17 degrees. So this will be a big sigh of relief for you Cancerians, because Mars has been retrograde in Cancer since the 6th of January. And in fact, it first went retrograde in Leo on the 6th of December in 2024. So this can indicate that you're overcoming a period of frustration, tensions, running high, or just feeling kind of tense within yourself. Maybe you will have cultivated more assertiveness during this time, or willpower, or erected stronger boundaries. You may have achieved, or you may achieve something very important which relates to your career during this time, because you do have Mars ruling over the 10th house, or perhaps you're starting your own business or launching a new service, or there's something new that you are starting with your business, because Mars rules over your 5th house. The 5th house also rules over love, romance, and children. So this can indicate that issues that you've been experiencing with one of your children can start to settle down, or perhaps with your significant other. And there can just be an improvement in your sex life as well, if that's been a little bit dry over the last few months. But basically, Mars being direct in your 1st house indicates that you have the energy, you have the assertiveness, you have the willpower and the stamina to now move forward with your goals and objectives, especially ones that you sort of initiated or started around late last year, even as early as September though, because that's when Mars first entered Cancer. So on the 28th of February, we're going to have a new moon in Pisces, and this is going to be at 9 degrees. So more 9th house activity. 9 degrees is the Sagittarius degree, so we're kind of doubling down on that 9th house Sagittarian energy. So with this new moon, it is conjunct Saturn, Mercury, the North Node, and Neptune, and it is squaring Jupiter in Gemini, but it is also trining Mars in Cancer, which is the key point here. So very, very supportive energy for you Cancerians. And I repeat, this looks like a new chapter that's starting for you as it relates to travel, education, your belief systems, having more faith, more optimism, more hope for your future, getting clearer on what your vision is, what do you want to manifest, what do you want to bring into your life, what do you want to concretize. So this is all about taking that first chapter, that first step in your life towards this chapter. Okay, so February is the start of a brand new chapter for you. I have no doubt about that. And so Cancer, thank you so much for tuning into your February horoscope. Just letting you know before we sign off today that I've got my 2025 yearly horoscopes available for sale. Each one is 2 to 2.5 hours long, and in yours I do a big juicy segment on Jupiter transiting Cancer in your first house. So if you wanted to purchase yours, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. In any case, Cancer, thank you again for watching your February horoscope. Wishing you many blessings for the month ahead, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hi Leo, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. The month begins with a couple of conjunctions in your 8th house, which is really setting the tone for the rest of the month, as your 8th house is highly activated in February. So on the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world, Venus and Neptune are going to be conjunct in Pisces at 27 degrees in your 8th house. They will form this conjunction again in late March. Then on the 3rd of February, so just right afterwards, we've got Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees, and Venus will conjunct the North Node another 2 times in April. So whatever is starting in February, it's going to really persist throughout March and April and even May as well. Ultimately, your 8th house is all about your mutual resources. So this represents the combined bank accounts or resources that you have with other people. It represents your significant other's income. It also rules over things like inheritances, taxes, insurance money as well. And the 8th house rules over psychology, healing, and anything to do with the occult. So there can be big focus on these topics and these themes, especially at the beginning of the month. The 8th house is also associated with vulnerability and intimacy, and therefore sex as well. So some of you may be starting a new sexual relationship with another person in February, and if you're already in a relationship, this can be a big focus for you and your significant other. The 8th house is also associated with transformation as well as crises too. So there may be unexpected turns of events that occur throughout the month of February. And I say this because we've also got the Neptune North Node conjunction happening later in the month, as well as the new moon. And these are both in Pisces. So your 8th house is lit right up for all of February. Okay, so in the first few days of the month, you may be making important decisions with another person about how to invest your resources, or maybe this is you talking about combining your resources, opening a bank account together, or purchasing an asset or some kind of investment, or even looking at selling one or more of these off. On the 4th of February, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aries. So for the month of February, Venus will be in its pre-shadow retrograde phase, and Venus will actually spend the next 7 weeks in Aries in your 9th house, which is awesome for you guys because it's going to be trining you, and a trine aspect is helpful, beneficial energy. So you're one of the lucky signs who is going to be experiencing this positive aspect that Venus is making to you for nearly the next 2 months. So 7 weeks, we should say. So this indicates that there is a big focus for you on travel, education, your belief systems, whether these are political, spiritual, religious, or perhaps a look at your moral compass. You may experience some kind of moral dilemma, especially as it relates to your career with Venus ruling over your 10th house, and perhaps your co-workers with Venus ruling the 3rd house, or maybe even siblings or relatives or your friendship group. The 9th house rules over legal matters, import and export, publishing, as well as your, let's say, long-term vision for your future. Okay, the 11th house is more like your long-term goals and projects, but the 9th house is what's my vision, what direction am I heading in, as well as your sense of optimism and faith. So Venus spending the next 7 weeks in your 9th house indicates a strong focus on these themes in one way or another, most likely more than one of these themes will be coming up for you over the course of February and March, and maybe even a look into May or April and May as well, because we've got this long post-shadow period. In any case though, Venus will bring some kind of blessing into the house that it is transiting, or some kind of benefit. So this can indicate that you are advancing with your education studies, that you are ascending to a higher level of knowledge when it comes to your belief systems. This can indicate that you are maybe setting up an import-export business, or looking at getting work of yours published. So this could be peer-reviewed, maybe content creation that is reaching a large audience, or getting a book published or something of this nature. Also on the 4th of February, Jupiter is going to station direct in Gemini in your 11th house at 11 degrees. So Jupiter is sextiling you as a Leo sun, moon, or rising, which means this is another positive aspect that you are receiving in the month of February. So Jupiter is all about expansion and growth. And because it's been retrograde for the last 4 months in your 11th house, so this is from the 10th of October 2024, you may have felt like you haven't been able to advance as much as you wanted with your long-term goals and dreams, with passive forms of income, with raising money with investors, or perhaps a social media platform, or something that you've innovated, or that you're looking at inventing. So there may have been some blockages or obstacles here. Saturn is about obstacles and blockages, whereas Jupiter is about growth and expansion. But when Jupiter is retrograde, we can feel like we want to advance and we want to progress, but we're just not reaching those heights, or it can feel like there's a bit of a ceiling, or like a threshold that's impossible to push past, no matter how much energy and effort we put into that. But what I'm saying is you're getting the green light with this now, with Jupiter stationing direct on the 4th of February. So you watch from early February as we progress through till early June, Jupiter being direct in motion in Gemini in your 11th house. Have a look at how you are expanding your wider network, meeting more people, making more friends, maybe healing relationships with friends that you've been out of touch with. You will be able to earn a higher level of passive income, or maybe you're looking at generating a passive form of income in this time. And this can actually look like getting a lump sum of money or some kind of bonus coming through in the next few months. So my fingers are crossed for you that occurs. In any case, let's move on. On the 12th or 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, there will be a full moon in Leo at 24 degrees. The Leos who will feel this the most will be about 19 to 29 degrees with a 5-degree orb. But, if you're a Leo, you are going to feel it. Okay, so it does need to be noted that this full moon is making a couple of super tense aspects. The full moon is opposing Mercury at 26 degrees Aquarius in your 7th house, and both the moon and Mercury and the sun are forming this super duper tight T-square with Uranus in Taurus at 23 degrees, and this is in your 10th house. So it's activating these cardinal houses for you, these angular houses. And to me, when I see this occur, it looks like action is taking place. We're seeing something manifest in the 3D. This isn't just concepts in the ether or in the idea realm. This is actual tangible results. And so because of the nature of this full moon aspecting Uranus, this does look like shocking events, something unexpected, something I wasn't planning for or anticipating. And this can relate to your career. Maybe there is some kind of announcement that comes from the top down at your workplace. Maybe your boss is leaving. Maybe there's like a restructuring that's occurring, or a contract that's kind of going bust, or a project, especially because we've got Uranus. So maybe this is, affecting the work community. On a different note and a more personal note, this can indicate that people are surprised by the action that you're taking because the full moon is in your house, in your first house, okay? So you could be making important decisions and choices as it relates to your personal relationships. So this can be with your spouse, with your significant other, with a friend, or this can be with a client or with a contractor or someone that you collaborate with. People can be surprised by how you're presenting yourself, how you dress, how you talk, how you walk. So it's like you're maybe coming off different. Okay, so on a different level, I would just say that people can find what you're saying to be quite shocking because Mercury is in your 7th house and the full moon's in your sign. So what you're communicating to other people, they could be like, whoa, that's, really intense, or they could just have differing views to you. I'm not saying don't act how you want to act or don't say what you want to say. By all means, you do you. But just note that whatever takes place around the full moon, it can affect your reputation, whether this is at work or with your friends or with your co-workers or even online. So do just keep that in mind for around the 12th or 13th of February, even plus or minus 1 to 2 weeks before or after. So moving along, on the 23rd of February, Neptune is going to make a conjunction to the North Node in Pisces in your 8th house at 28 degrees. This only happens every 16 to 17 years, so it's no big deal. Just kidding. It is a big deal. It's a new 16-year cycle that's starting for you because we will not see this conjunction take place again until 2041. And that at that time, it'll be in Taurus. So this is the only time in our lifetime that we're going to see Neptune conjunct the North Node in Pisces. So we've already talked about the influence of the 8th house, right? To me, this looks like important decisions that you are making or a new chapter that's taking place when it comes to your mutual resources with other people, the money that you, or the resources that you receive from other people or that you combine with other people. This is also indicative of a great healing that can take place in your life. So an energetic shift or transmutation of stuck, stagnant energy. In fact, you may want to make time to focus on your healing in some way around the 23rd of February. And this can also indicate that you are feeling closer than ever before to your significant other, and you really are under the influence of Neptune and Pisces for the entirety of February, because we've also got a new moon in Pisces as well. So you will just need to be mindful that people are not taking advantage of your resources as well. So I did just want to make that little note there. On the 24th of February, Mars is going to station direct in the sign of Cancer in your 12th house at 17 degrees. So this can indicate that you have, or you will, be concluding a period of deep introspective work and looking at how am I self-sabotaging? How am I potentially playing the victim? How have I allowed others to cross my boundaries? Or how have I let certain fears and insecurities run rampantly throughout my life, and how has this affected me subconsciously? Because the 12th house is your subconscious. So Mars here is about getting to the bottom of what are my subconscious beliefs? What are my fears? What are my insecurities that are at the root of something in my life not advancing the way that I want it to, especially with family, especially with your property and living circumstances, with Mars ruling the 4th house, and especially with your vision for your future. And I would say that this is actually more about you connecting to a higher level of faith and optimism. And I don't even mean in a religious sense. I just mean in terms of trusting that you're not an unlucky person, okay? And I just want to say something here. Leo has Cancer in the 12th house. That is your 12th house sign. So the moon rules your 12th house. And the moon represents your soul and your family and your property and living circumstances. So Leos can actually be extremely affected by their subconscious fears and insecurities, because their emotions rule their subconscious house. And so if you don't take a look at that, then that can actually be influencing your life in a way where you feel like you're not as lucky as you should be, or luck's not on my side. So I didn't even have a note in this horoscope for you to say that, but I just felt really inclined to do so. Another way that this can play out is that you are finally advancing with a creative project that you've been working on behind the scenes. So this could be possibly something scientific with the 12th house, or maybe something creative as well. So lastly, for the month, on the 28th, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this is going to be in your 8th house. So again, that heavy activation of the 8th house is at play. This particular new moon is at the Sagittarius degree, which I quite like because it indicates this focus on being more optimistic and having a more, I'm going to use the word optimistic again, a more optimistic mindset, especially when it comes to things that you may have previously felt quite fearful about with that 9th house energy. In any case, new moons are all about planting the new seeds and starting a new chapter. So this can indicate that you are looking at combining your resources with another person, investing in something with another person, whether this is an asset, a house, property, land, or perhaps you are going to be gaining access to someone else's resources on a different level. This can indicate that you are focusing on maybe drawing up a will, or investing in insurance for your house or your car or something of this nature. Also, the 9th house is related to intimacy and vulnerability. So this can see you feeling more comfortable in getting close to other people, or perhaps even deepening your connection with your significant other. And to me, this also indicates that you are having a balanced approach and mindset to overcoming fears and insecurities in your life. And so the 8th house and the 12th house are both related to fears and insecurities, which is why I'm mentioning it twice. But ultimately, all of this Piscean energy is trining Mars in Cancer, okay? And it is also squaring Jupiter in Gemini. So this is about being more objective, but then also feeling motivated and comfortable to take risks and to try and initiate some kind of growth and advancement in your life when it comes to your long-term goals and your long-term projects, with Jupiter being in your 11th house. And so Leo, thank you so much for listening to this horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also Leo, I do have my 2025 yearly horoscopes available for sale, so if you'd like to purchase yours, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Thanks Leo, have a great February, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. This month, your sign is so activated by all of these conjunctions and all of this astrological energy that is taking place in your 7th house in Pisces, which is opposing you. So even if you don't have a drop of Pisces in your chart, trust me, February is a mover and shaker month for you. On the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to conjunct Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees in your 7th house. It will make this conjunction again in late March. On the 3rd of February, so straight after, Venus is going to conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees, and it will also conjunct the North Node another 2 times in April. Later in February, we've got the Neptune North Node conjunction in Pisces at 28 degrees, which only happens every 16 to 17 years. And then on the last day of the month, we've got the new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees. So I will say that the Virgos who would be the most impacted would be those from about 24 up till 29 degrees. But in saying that, I do think that no one will be immune from the activation to the 7th house. So In a one-liner, I'm just going to say February is all about your personal one-to-one relationships. This can be romantic, business, friendships, clients, as well as important contracts that are being signed. Okay, so with these conjunctions between Venus and Neptune and Venus in the North Node in the first few days of the month, some of you may be looking at entering into a new relationship or taking your existing relationship to a new level, to another level. Okay, so this looks like definitive decisions could be made, and also with that conjunction to the North Node, you may feel like you're taking a risk. I'm taking a risk by entering into a relationship with this person. I'm taking a risk by ending a relationship with this person, or by going into business with this person. But also this can feel like a really exciting time for you as well. Ultimately, Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces, which means it loves to be there, and Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces. So other themes that can be coming up for you around early February, or even throughout the rest of February, could be on love, relationships, self-worth, what you value, but then with respect to your relationships with other people. Do I feel loved? Do I feel valued? Do I feel that there's equal give and take in this partnership or in this arrangement? Also, there can be big themes around healing, forgiveness, tolerance, but then also guarding against, where am I feeling like I'm being victimized, or is this person that I'm in a relationship with kind of gaslighting me or acting like the victim? So there can be a big question mark over boundaries when it comes to your relationship, your one-to-one relationships in general. Okay, and again, these can be romantic, with a business partner, etc., etc. On the 4th of February, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aries, and it will be there for the next 7 weeks. And during that time, as of early March, there will be a retrograde motion or retrograde phase as well. It does have to be said that for the whole of February, we are in the pre-shadow period for Venus retrograde. In fact, this started at the end of January, very end of January. So Venus is wanting to bring harmony, peace, and balance into whatever house it's transiting, but especially when it has this long stay in one of these signs, which is what occurs when we've got Venus retrograde. So this is all about your mutual resources. And the 8th house also rules over things like insurance money, inheritances, taxes, anything to do with the occult, but also hidden fears and insecurities could be coming up around this time. And the 8th house is related to intimacy, vulnerability, sex, and also crisis. So crisis and transformation, and these really do go hand in hand. So for you guys, Venus, well, for us, because I'm a Virgo moon, Venus rules over the 2nd house. So that's where we've got Libra, and this represents personal income, finances, resources, money management, possessions, valuables, personal values as well. And then it rules over your 9th house, which is where we've got Taurus. And so this is our higher values, principles, our belief systems, as well as travel and education. So with Venus being in your 8th house, there may be unexpected changes that tie in those themes of those two houses. So unexpected changes or transformation of your personal income, your finances, your resources, your possessions, your valuables, as well as diet and anything that is a priority for you. And then we've also got maybe unexpected changes as it relates to travel, visas, any education program that you are enrolled in, etc., etc. And also it could just be that your beliefs as it pertains to these themes is shifting, and that is transforming and changing. So it's like my attitude to money, my attitude to diet, my attitude to resources, all my belief systems are changing, my religious beliefs, my spiritual beliefs, and so on and so forth. So Also on the 4th of February, Jupiter is going to station direct in Gemini in your 10th house at 11 degrees. This is good news for all of us because when Jupiter is retrograde, as it has been the last 4 months, we can feel kind of constipated in wanting to take action and see growth and expansion and just have new experiences and go on adventures. And Jupiter retrograde is like denied for 4 to 5 months every year because you need to learn more, you need to focus more, you need to understand the principles and the theory before you take action. So that's what we've been experiencing. But from early February, Jupiter is direct. So then these things can move forward. We're moving the needle forward. And Jupiter is squaring you as a Virgo sun, moon, or rising, especially at 11 degrees. Okay, but in any case, this is all about your clarity of vision because Jupiter is like, where am I going? What's the target? What are my higher principles? What are my higher values? I'm searching for the truth. I'm searching for expansion and growth and adventure. And so Jupiter in the 10th house can indicate that you're wanting this for yourself with respect to your public status in your career, because that's what the 10th house is related to. But also, let's not forget, Jupiter rules the 4th house and the 7th house. So this is about moving things forward with family dynamics, maybe starting a family, property and living circumstances, relationships. Are we doing this? Are we not doing this? Are we, going to get engaged? Are we going to get married? Are we going to move in together or start a family or travel? Are you with me? Are you coming with me on this, or am I going my own separate ways? Or are we going our own separate ways, I mean to say. So this can see you taking on a higher level of leadership, more responsibility at the workplace, being known for the work that you're doing, being looked upon favorably for what you are releasing out into the world. And for some of you, you may be signing important contracts with clients, with work, new boss, a new company, a new organization that you're working for. Or maybe this is signing a new rental agreement or contracts when it comes to property, to buy, to sell, etc. And some of you may be announcing an engagement or getting married around this time, or finding out that you're a parent around this time, or announcing that you're expecting, or perhaps finding out that you're going to be a grandparent around this time. And I want to give this a bit of a buffer. Okay, so Jupiter will be direct in Gemini from the 4th of February until the 8th of June. So this is where we can see things moving forward when it comes to these topics. On the 12th or 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, there will be a full moon in Leo. So this is going to be taking place at 24 degrees in your 12th house. So it's a very subconscious house. It's a very hidden house. You may feel like things are happening or shifting beneath the surface that's not really clear to other people. But if we have a look closer, this full moon in your 12th house is actually opposing Mercury, which is your chart ruler in your 6th house. So this can be an epiphany or a download when it comes to how can I make healthier choices in my life? What do I need to overcome in the way of self-sabotaging behavior, daily habits and routines that are not supportive of me and my health and experiencing vitality? And for some of you, this can be a look at overcoming certain addictions. For others of you, because this full moon in the 12th house is squaring Uranus in Taurus in the 9th house, this could be unexpected happenings that relate to your travel plans, whether these are interstate or abroad, or perhaps this is to do with your plans for education. Okay, so on a different note, you may have a really profound experience that occurs during meditation or during your yoga practice, which is also represented by the 12th house. So on the 12th of February, Mercury, your chart ruler, will enter the sign of Pisces. And then on the 18th of February, the sun will enter Pisces in your 7th house. So from mid-month onwards, there's such a heavy focus, astrologically speaking, on your 7th house. So February in general, but especially the second half of February, is all about your relationships with other people. Are they in balance? Do I want to be friends with this person? Do I want to work with that person? What services do I want to offer? Or maybe you are engaging the services of other people that can turn out to be quite life-changing in some way. On the 23rd of February, Neptune and the North Node are going to form a conjunction in Pisces in your 7th house at 28 degrees. This is a new 16-year cycle that is occurring. This conjunction only occurs every 16 to 17 years, so it is very rare. And this can indicate that there's an important new chapter that is taking place when it comes to your contracts that you're signing with another person, a new collaboration, a business partner, or an important direction that you and your significant other are choosing to move in. Okay, so on the 24th of February, Mars will station direct in Cancer in your 11th house at 17 degrees. So this is sextiling you, which is super beneficial and helpful. And ultimately, Mars has been retrograde since the 6th of December in 2024. And it's been retrograde in Cancer specifically since the 6th of January in 2025. So this can indicate that things can calm down and relax, and let's say that the tension can dissipate when it comes to your relationship with older siblings, and also any communities that you're part of or wider networks that you are part of. This can see you advancing forward with a long-term goal or project of yours, or just having clarity about what direction to move in when it comes to a long-term goal or project. Maybe you are successfully generating a new stream of passive or residual form of income around the end of February, and perhaps this is something that could have been percolating along in the background or marinating in your mind even, as early as September of 2024 when Mars first entered the sign of Cancer. So if you've been struggling to raise money when it comes to investors, or just move things forward with people that you collaborate with, you can start to have more success in this department as we get to the end of February and beyond. It does need to be stated, though, that the Mars post-shadow retrograde period will persist until early May. So that's when things can really move forward for you, Virgos. Okay, so lastly for the month, on the 28th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this will be taking place at 9 degrees in your 7th house. It is conjunct Saturn, it is conjunct Mercury and the North Node and Neptune, as you can see there. It is all squaring Jupiter and Gemini in your 10th house, but fortunately it's making a beautiful trine to Mars in Cancer in your 11th house. So there's a lot of repetition here just because we do have such a strong activation of your 7th house, but ultimately this can indicate that there's an important new chapter that is starting when it comes to relationships, contracts, collaborations, services, and your agreements and obligations to other people. Also, this could indicate that there's an important new chapter that is starting in the life of your significant other or in the life of your second born child, because your 7th house represents their 1st house. Okay, so the energy of the new moon will be with you 1 to 2 weeks before the new moon and 1 to 2 weeks after. So about mid-February through till mid-March, it can be with you, or the energy of the new moon, let's say. So thank you, Virgo, for watching this horoscope. If you'd like to see more content, please hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I just wanted to let you know that my 2025 yearly horoscopes are available for sale. So each one is about 2 to 2.5 hours long, and if you're interested in purchasing yours, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Thanks again, Virgo, and wishing you an amazing month ahead. Hi Libra, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. It's a really big month for Libras for a few different reasons, but let's just dive straight in, shall we? On the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world, Venus, which is your chart ruler, will conjunct Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees. And it will actually make this conjunction again in late March. Then, just 1 or 2 days after, we've got Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees, and it will make this conjunction another 2 times in April. Okay, so not to mention Venus is in its pre-shadow retrograde period for the entirety of February. So ultimately, Libra, there's so much change that is coming into your life in February, March, and April as well. And I say that because we've got the retrograde period for Venus, which is occurring in March and April. Okay, so the fact that Venus is conjunct Neptune in Pisces in your 6th house and then conjunct the North Node in Pisces in your 6th house indicates that your 6th house is super activated for you in February. And we've got another conjunction happening later and a new moon there. So February is all about your health, your daily habits, your routines, your exercise regime, as well as what you're doing for work, as well as life admin, perhaps even looking at employees, and ultimately how you can be of service in a way that is meaningful to you. So to have Venus conjunct Neptune and then the North Node here in the 6th house can indicate that you are wanting to look at making healthier choices. And this can be for yourself, in love, romance, or in terms of how you nourish yourself, in terms of resource management, and maybe even a look at overcoming self-medicating or perhaps even addictions as well. Venus conjunct Neptune in the 6th house is also asking you to look at where in your life you are not enforcing your boundaries. Where in your life are you overindulging in a way that is perhaps becoming unhealthy or unsustainable? Because the 6th house really is all about your health. But just know that Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. It loves to be in the sign of Pisces. And so if you have struggled with health, with your daily habits, with your routines, if you have struggled with exercise, if you have struggled with work, and maybe this is the workplace in general or the kind of work that you do or your work schedule, then all of this is up for review. All of this is up for a new start and a new chapter coming through for you in the month of February. And I'll just say one last thing on this. Venus and Neptune conjunct in your 6th house is supportive of you doing work that's meaningful, that's artistic, that's creative, that is something that ignites your soul, that you're happy about, that you enjoy. You know, this conjunction in your 6th house is saying, we want you to enjoy the work that you do. We want you to enjoy good health. We want you to enjoy advocating for yourself and not letting other people take advantage. So that's a very big focus for Libras and an important lesson that will be learned through February, March, and April, and even May as well. So on the 4th of February, Venus, again, your ruling planet, is going to enter the sign of Aries. So it's going to be transiting your 7th house for 7 weeks. Okay, so when Venus has a retrograde cycle in one of our houses, especially if we're a Libra or a Taurus, with Venus being the chart ruler, it will manifest something in that house. It will, okay? And it will also bring balance and harmony and peace to an aspect of whatever that house rules over in our life, okay? So for you guys, there's a strong focus for the next, it's not even 7 weeks. It's honestly February, March, April and May because of the post-shadow period. So there's a strong focus on your relationships, whether this is with someone you collaborate with, your clients, your your significant other as well. So this is a focus on relationships of all kinds, and then also your relationship with your second-born child could be front and center for you during this period of time as well. If you've got children, if you've got 2 children or more, the 7th house is your second born child. So this can bring peace and harmony and balance to your 7th house. But then when we've got the retrograde there, it can throw a little bit of a spanner in the works where we're having to advocate for ourselves, be assertive, and it can also look like what feels good for me doesn't feel good for you, or vice versa when Venus is retrograde. So, and in the pre-shadow period. So it's about striking a balance and seeing whether it's worth continuing said relationship. Okay, so on the 4th, also on the 4th of February, Jupiter is going to station direct, and this will be in Gemini in your 9th house at 11 degrees. This is super supportive of you guys because Jupiter is trining you. And now that it is direct, it's not this like, you know, let's say, it's not this pushing a boulder up a hill kind of energy, because sometimes when Jupiter is retrograde, we can have all of this energy and excitement and motivation to like start something or channel our energy into something. But then Jupiter retrograde is like, sorry, you haven't focused on the theory enough. Sorry, you need to, you know, understand the principles of this before you go out into the world. So it can kind of be like Jupiter retrograde, sorry to say this, Jupiter, but it's like the boring part of Jupiter's energy. So once it's direct from the 4th of February, this means you can have the green light when it comes to travel, education, getting published, your long-term vision for your future, your belief systems, religious, spiritual, political, etc. If you've been grappling with a big moral dilemma for the last 3 to 4 months, you can finally get clarity on this. And also, if there has been a plateau or stagnation when it comes to legal proceedings, Jupiter being direct can indicate that now things can move forward. Okay, or there can maybe be, let's say, a revelation when it comes to court case dates or the legal response of, you know, whatever you're dealing with. All right, so on the 12th or 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, there will be a full moon in Leo at 24 degrees and it will be sextiling you. So fortunately for you, you've got Jupiter trining you, the full moon sextiling you, which is helpful energy. All right, in saying that, just look at this full moon. It's pretty tense. All right, so it is opposing Mercury in Aquarius and it is squaring. There's this heavy T-square to Uranus in Taurus. All right, so because this is occurring in your 11th house, which is still like a lucky beneficial house for you, it could be that there are unexpected happenings or occurrences that relate to your long-term plans for the future, passive and residual forms of income, your relationship with an older sibling or older siblings, as well as certain community involvement or friendships as well. So ultimately, the nature of this full moon is that it is impactful, quick, tense, unexpected, and it can indicate some kind of like sudden cutoff in communication or cutting ties, or like a massive unexpected pivot. But also, this full moon is trining Chiron in Aries. So whatever is happening, it's for your best and highest good. It's helpful, it's healing, and that's something that we should keep in mind. The energy of the full moon will be with you for 1 to 2 weeks beforehand and 1 to 2 weeks after. So kind of the whole month of February, we can be feeling this energy. On the 23rd of February, Neptune will conjunct the North Node in Pisces in your 6th house at 26 degrees. And this conjunction only happens once every 16 or 17 years. We will not see it again until 2041. And we certainly won't see it again in the sign of Pisces in this lifetime. So the North Node wants to bring something new to the house that it is transiting. And so this can look like new work, new job, something new happening with pets. This can indicate that you may be getting involved in a charity, or you can be approved for a big loan. This can indicate that you are taking a whole new direction with your health and with your exercise regime, and again with what you're doing for work and how it is that you want to be of service. So please take note of whatever is happening in the month of February. On the 24th of February, Mars will station direct in Cancer in your 10th house at 17 degrees. Mars has been squaring you retrogradedly, made that word up just then, since the 6th of January. Okay, so it's not easy to have Mars square us or conjunct or opposing us, and it's doubly not easy, or I should say difficult, when Mars is retrograde. But ultimately, this looks like there can be massive progression and career growth. So maybe you, around this time, are attaining a promotion, achieving a career goal, maybe issues in the workplace when it comes to your relationship with your boss or someone who's in a position of authority can start to calm down. On a different note, with Mars ruling over your 7th house, if there's been question marks over my relationship, what direction are we going in, what's happening with us, you can really start to get answers after Mars is direct. Again, this is on the 24th of February onwards, although you may not know exactly where you stand or where you're headed until even early May, which is when the Mars retrograde post-shadow period will conclude. So if things have been up in the air in your relationship, let's just say it can look like you have more clarity with this as we get further and further away from the 24th of February. On a different note, this can indicate that there is a change in your public status or reputation, or maybe even when it comes to your personal income. So you may achieve some kind of important goal or objective there with Mars ruling over your 2nd house. So lastly, for the month, on the 28th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this will be at 9 degrees in your 6th house. It is conjunct Saturn and Mercury and the North Node and Neptune. It's trining Mars in Cancer in your 10th house, which is positive, and it is also squaring Jupiter and Gemini in your 9th house. So this can indicate that there's, once again, new seeds and a new chapter that's starting when it comes to your health, your vitality, your daily habits, your exercise regime. Plus, this can indicate starting a new job, maybe a new office, so working in a new office, or your workplace premises could be relocating. You could be traveling while you were working with the square to Gemini, or you could have to travel for work or in this new job or this new role. On a different note, this can indicate that you're looking at bringing new employees on board, and also because of this trine to Mars in Cancer in your 10th house, this can indicate that something that you are starting in terms of your daily habits and routines around February can be very supportive in terms of your public image and reputation. So Libra, thank you so much for tuning into this horoscope. If you're wanting to purchase your 2025 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Each one is 2 to 2.5 hours in length, and because of the new cycles that we're having in Aries as of end of March and end of May, with Saturn entering Aries and Neptune entering Aries, there's a big focus for you guys on this one in this horoscope. So thanks again for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button and enjoy your month ahead, Libra. Now let's move on to Scorpio. Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. The month begins with Venus forming a conjunction with Neptune, and this is in your 5th house at 27 degrees in the sign of Pisces. So your 5th house is super activated for the month of February, which means it's all about your love life, your sex life, dating, children, creativity, starting your own business, and your creative projects and hobbies and passions. So these are some of the themes that are going to be recurring throughout the month of February that I will be referring to in this horoscope. So as I said, the month kicks off with this Venus-Neptune conjunction. Then 1 or 2 days later, on the 3rd of February, we've got Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees. So this conjunction will take place another 2 times in April. So we're sort of seeing like the early stages of a new chapter starting in February, and in terms of what direction they're going in or its trajectory, this will become more and more clear as we get into March, April, and even May. So this indicates for many of you that there is this big focus on those aforementioned themes. So love, romance, what am I passionate about? You know, what creative gifts and talents and hobbies do I have that I want to pursue? And this can also indicate healing of a relationship with your child or with one of your children, and also perhaps starting an exciting new creative project that you feel very passionate and enthusiastic about. Now, on the 4th of February, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aries. So this indicates that it is the pre-shadow period, actually, because we're going to have Venus retrograde in Aries and also Pisces when we move into March. So from the 4th of February, Venus will be in Aries for the next 7 weeks. So this indicates that there is a focus on your health, on your daily habits, your routines, your exercise regime, as well as pets, work, employees, life admin stuff as well. And ultimately, Venus wants to manifest something positive into the house that it is transiting, and it wants to restore peace and harmony and balance. So it does have to be said that Venus doesn't really like to be in the 6th house, because the 6th house is about conflicts, adversity, things that we find challenging and things that require discipline, whereas Venus wants to just like tra-la-la, you know, indulge and eat chocolate and do things that feel good. In saying that, I'm thinking that Venus going through your 6th house can indicate you finding a way to enjoy focusing on improving your health, to find a way to enjoy the daily work that you do. And if there is something in your life that you really don't like, it doesn't bring you pleasure, you're not enjoying it, Venus going through your 6th house can say, it's time to surrender this. It's time to let this go, because Venus rules over your 12th house, which is about surrendering. It's about letting go. Okay, so you may have to let go of habits that no longer serve you. With Venus ruling your 7th house, you may have to let go of relationships that no longer serve you, or collaborations that no longer serve you. But on the flip side, Venus here will help you to work on these things. It will help you to restore peace, harmony, and balance to relationships that are out of whack. And if it can be done, it will be done. Okay, that's the energy of Venus in Aries, especially because, like I said, Venus is going to retrograde in Aries in March. So Venus is our relationship and Aries is to fight. So Venus going through Aries is like, let's fight for this relationship. Let's fight to make this work. Okay, so on the 4th of February as well, Jupiter is going to station direct in the sign of Gemini in your 8th house at 11 degrees. It has been retrograde for the last 4 months since about the 10th of October 2024. So during this time, there may have been uncertainty or not as much progress as you would have liked to have seen as it relates to your mutual resources, or as it relates to even your own personal healing and transformation, because the 8th house is about the occult, the esoteric, anything to do with healing, psychology, etc. So Jupiter now direct in your 11th house can indicate that it's coming together with your mutual resources. Maybe your partner is now contributing, okay? Because the 2nd house, I've already started to explain it, so I better just finish up with that. The 8th house is your partner's 2nd house, so that can indicate that there is an increase in income from your partner's side of things. On a different note, this can indicate that you may be receiving inheritance money or financial assistance from another person, because your 8th house represents mutual resources. On a different note, this can indicate that you may be feeling like you're healing your relationship with your significant other because Jupiter rules over your 5th house, or perhaps your relationship with your child, or you could be finding out some kind of important truth which relates to your child, your children, or your significant other. Now, on the 12th or 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, there will be a full moon in Leo at 24 degrees, and this is going to be in your 10th house. So it is a tense full moon. As you can see, it is squaring Uranus and it is opposing Mercury. So there is this T-square with Uranus at the apex, which means it's activating your 10th house, your 4th house, and your 7th house. So you're being squared and opposed every which way, which to me indicates that something important is coming to pass when it comes to Scorpio sun, moon, and risings. So this can indicate that there is an unexpected event or occurrence that relates to your public status of some kind. So this can be career, employment, contract, your collaboration with another person, or this can be relationship status or financial status, or a change to your property and living circumstances. Just by the way, I do want to point out that this full moon is trining Chiron in Aries. Okay, so whatever is taking place is going to support you, be helpful to you, be healing for you, and it is for your best and highest good. So whatever is happening is going to improve your health, improve your daily habits and routines. It's going to, in the long run, be supportive of whatever it is that you do for work, or however it is that you are of service to other people in your life. But it could just come sort of out of left field where it's like, I wasn't expecting this with my workplace. Maybe there's some kind of announcement from your boss, or the direction that your company is going in, or there could just be like someone quitting that you weren't expecting, or even an opportunity for you to step up and take on a new level of leadership, and perhaps you just felt somewhat unprepared or maybe even unqualified for this. So moving along, from the 14th of February, we're going to have Mercury entering Pisces in the 5th house, or transiting your 5th house, I should say. Then on the 18th, the Sun will enter Pisces. So we're going to have a lot of planets in your 5th house trining you, which is very, very supportive. So if things have felt kind of difficult or chaotic as you've entered February, then when we've got all of these planets trining you in the second half, and especially after Mars is direct from the 24th of February, things are going to start to calm down for you. On the 23rd of February, Neptune and North Node are going to be conjunct in Pisces in your 5th house at 28 degrees. This is a new 16-year cycle that is occurring in your life, so it's very rare to see this transit, or quite rare, I should say, and we have not seen it before in Pisces in our lifetime, and we will not see it again. So this can indicate that there is a new chapter when it comes to love, romance, sex, dating, or perhaps starting a family, expanding it further, a new chapter that's taking place in the life of one of your children. And for others of you, this can indicate starting a new business or doing something exciting, taking a risk, starting a new chapter when it comes to owning your own business, or maybe even discovering a new creative gift or talent or hobby, or starting a new creative project which you continue to work on in some capacity for quite a while to come. On the 24th of February, Mars, which is your ruling planet, will finally be direct in the sign of Cancer in your 9th house at 17 degrees. So you're being trined from everything in Pisces, and then trined from your own ruling planet in Cancer in your 9th house, which is very supportive and very beneficial for you. So this can indicate that you're getting some kind of clarity, or you're able to feel like there's forward momentum, or at the very least, you're getting the green light from the universe with respect to travel, education, legal matters, perhaps something to do with publishing or import and export. And for others of you, this could relate to your belief systems and just feeling like you have a better understanding of politics or your religious faith or your spiritual beliefs. This could be the conclusion of a moral dilemma that you've been experiencing for the last few months. And lastly, this can indicate that your long-term vision in general is expanding and you're feeling more optimistic. And also, I did want to say this can indicate that your health could be improving as well, because Mars rules over your 6th house and it's your ruling planet. So you may have felt like your health has been a bit on the, you haven't had as much vitality or energy as you would have liked to over the last few months, maybe since, let's say, early December or maybe even November of 2024. But with Mars being direct, your health can really start to improve and you can have more energy going forward. So on the 28th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces. And this is going to take place in your 5th house at 9 degrees. As you can see, it's conjunct Saturn, it's conjunct Mercury, it's conjunct North Node and Neptune. It's trining Mars in Cancer, which is positive, but then it is also squaring Jupiter in Gemini. In any case, once more, we're visiting the themes of the 5th house. So this can indicate that you are wanting to manifest some kind of creative vision into your life. So this can be with respect to creative projects, your love life, manifesting a new relationship, or improving your relationship with your significant other, experiencing more romance, more passion. Maybe you're looking at starting your own business or expanding it further. This can indicate an exciting new chapter that is taking place in the life of one of your children, probably your firstborn child, if I had to say. And maybe some of you are finding out that you're going to be a grandparent. Okay, so Scorpio, the energy of this new moon will be with you 1 to 2 weeks before and 1 to 2 weeks after. So from about mid-February through till mid-March. Thank you so much for tuning into your horoscope, Scorpio. If you're wanting more content from me, I do have my 2025 yearly horoscopes for sale. Each one is 2 to 2.5 hours long and jam-packed with information, so you can purchase yours using the link in the description box below. In any case, please enjoy your month ahead. Be safe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. February is a big month for all mutable signs and your sign is no exception. So let's just dive straight in. On the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to form a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees in your 4th house, and it will actually make one more conjunction again in late March. Then on the 3rd of February, Venus will conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees, and it will make 2 more conjunctions to the North Node in April. So your 4th house will also be activated later in the month with the North Node Neptune conjunction, which is very rare, and a new moon in Pisces at the end of the month. So ultimately, we need to understand what the 4th house represents to see how it's going to be manifesting for you as a Sagittarius rising sun or moon. The 4th house relates to your property and living circumstances of all kinds. So this represents where you're living, property that you own, whether you live in it or not, rental agreements, as well as things like who you live with, parents, children, flatmates, husband, wife, and it even rules over temporary accommodation as well. And the 4th house also relates to our family in general, our roots, our lineage, our heritage, and our sense of security and safety. And lastly, land and farming. So these are things that will be in some way, shape, or form. At least one or more of these topics will be coming up for you in the month of February. So this can indicate that you are going to be investing money, time, resources into your property and living circumstances with Venus being involved with this conjunction here. This can indicate that you are actually healing the relationship that you have with an important family member in your life, or doing your best to heal that relationship. I won't lie, This can look like emotional manipulation, maybe coming up for some Sagittarians, probably more so if you're a Sagittarius rising or moon rather than sun. For others of you, you may be looking at wanting to prepare to start a family or to relocate, or there may be something that you need to sacrifice or surrender as it relates to your property and living circumstances or your family. And I say that because Neptune and Pisces rule over the themes of surrender and sacrifice, as well as unconditional love, compassion, and healing. So all of these themes can be coming up for you in a big way. I think that many Sagittarians will be focused on healing, especially when it comes to healing their past, healing important family relations, and also moving beyond grudges. Not that Sagittarians are known for holding a grudge. I mean, of course, it's just going to depend on what else is going on in your chart. But really, I do think that there's an important, you're turning over a new leaf with your family and with your living circumstances. Okay, so on the 4th of February, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aries in your 5th house, and it will be there for the next 7 weeks. For the entirety of February, Venus will be in its pre-shadow retrograde phase. Then it's going to be retrograde for pretty much all of March, almost all of it, and about half of April. So the next 7 weeks, Venus in your 5th house, this is awesome for you guys. This is about love, romance, passion, dating, sex. On a different note, this is about creativity, creative projects, starting your own business, or what you're doing with your own business if you already have one. And Venus is one of the benefic planets in astrology. It's about harmonization, peace, enjoyment, love, romance, or just even enjoying whatever house it's transiting. So the 5th house rules over our talents and our hobbies, as well as creative projects, which I've already mentioned. So this can indicate that there's a big focus on these themes for you. Enjoying your creative projects, enjoying being creative, enjoying creative writing, or enjoying dating. Okay, if you haven't been dating for a while, maybe you meet someone new around this time, or you're just enjoying getting back in the game. If you are in a relationship already, then this can indicate that there's more fun and adventure coming into your love life, your romantic life. And because the 5th house rules over children, this can look like you're maybe wanting to start a family, expand your family further, or this can indicate that you're looking at there could be a new chapter that is starting in the life of one of your children. And for some of you, you could be finding out that you're going to become a grandparent during this period of time. And also on the 4th of February, we're going to have Jupiter stationed direct in Gemini in your 7th house at 11 degrees. This is very positive for relationships, collaborations, anyone who's in a long-term relationship, anyone who is married. And ultimately, the reason for this is that Jupiter is the greater benefic in astrology. It wants to bring abundance, blessings, and something new and positive and fresh into the house that it is transiting. So if there has been a bit of a disconnect between you and your significant other, or you and a business partner, then Jupiter being direct in your 7th house from the 4th of February till the 9th of June in 2025, this can indicate that things are now moving forward. We've got the green light, we've got momentum, we're getting on the same page, and it doesn't have to involve other people. This can even just be in terms of you and your property and living circumstances and what you want to do with your house, with tenants, with contracts, etc. Because Jupiter is your ruling planet, and Jupiter rules the 4th house as well as the 4th house as well as the 1st house. So there can be important new contracts that you are signing, or new services that you are offering or engaging. This can indicate that you may be getting engaged or getting married sometime between early February and early June, or you're making plans for a proposal or to set the date. And this can just be about advancing things further with your significant other. You know, it doesn't necessarily need to be about, let's say, starting a family or moving house. This can also be about starting a business together, or just being on the same page as your significant other. Some of you may actually be walking away from an important agreement or contract, because Jupiter can sometimes be the liberation from something. So you could be calling it quits with an important collaboration or one-to-one personal relationship that you have. Now, on the 12th or 13th of, on the 12th or 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, there will be a full moon in Leo in your 9th house, and it will be at 24 degrees. It is trining you, which is good, but it is making some pretty hard aspects. So it's opposing Mercury in Aquarius in your 3rd house, and it is squaring Uranus in Taurus, which is in your 6th house. So this is all about unexpected change coming through. And I say that because of the square to Uranus. So it's like maybe something going awry, something that you weren't counting on happening takes place. And this can relate to travel plans, your higher education, your belief systems, whether these are political, spiritual, religious, etc. You may be faced with an important moral dilemma that you need to navigate somehow. And in terms of some other factors that are being tied in here, this could relate to legal matters. So maybe if you're traveling abroad, or even just experiencing red tape and needing to navigate your way through that. And also this can look like, I wasn't going to say this, but it's just coming up now, politically charged conversations, maybe with friends, maybe with siblings, maybe with co-workers, with that opposition to Mercury in your 3rd house. And this could cause a little bit of conflict with the square to Uranus and Taurus in your 6th house. So in saying that, it's trining you, it's positive, it's helpful. In some way, shape, or form, whatever is happening is letting that hot air out. It's bursting that bubble if there has been tension brewing. Also, the full moon is trining Chiron in Aries, which is helpful, supportive energy. So something is being healed with this full moon. And lastly, this can indicate a spiritual awakening or some kind of massive epiphany, which just knocks you for 6. And even if this is like, whoa, you know, I can't believe this completely challenges how I thought, how I viewed the world, etc. Again, it's trining Chiron, so this is having a beneficial impact on you. All right, so moving along, Sagittarius, on the 23rd of February, Neptune will conjunct the North Node in Pisces in your 4th house at 28 degrees. This is a new 16-year cycle that's taking place. We will not see this conjunction between the North Node and Neptune take place again until 2041. So this only happens every 16 to 17 years. And as it's occurring in your 4th house, this can indicate that there's perhaps a risk that you're taking when it comes to your property and living circumstances, your family dynamics. There's something new that is being introduced into your home life, your personal life, your private life, which is exciting, but there's also this element of the unknown that's taking place as well. On the 24th of February, so the next day, Mars will station direct in Cancer in your 8th house at 17 degrees. So Mars has been retrograde since the 6th of December in 2024, but it's been retrograde in Cancer specifically since the 6th of January in 2025. So this can indicate that something is settling when it comes to mutual resources, when it comes to shared investments, shared bank accounts, money that you earn through other people. Maybe you are breathing a sigh of relief as you get closure on what is happening with inheritance money, tax money, insurances, debts, loans. That's also 6th house related as well, but the eighth house has its own connection to those things too. The eighth house relates to intimacy, sex, being vulnerable as well. So this can indicate that your sex life may be coming back online, is the term that comes to mind. So when Mars is retrograde in the eighth house, especially ruling your fifth house as well, which is also connected to sex and dating, this can have put a real dampener on your sex life. So this can be improving quite a lot as we get to late February. And then once we're out of the post-shadow period altogether from early May, things can improve once more. This can also indicate that you are pinpointing what are my hidden fears, what are my hidden insecurities, and overcoming these, and perhaps getting to the core or the deeper truth of something that has been eluding you for the last few months. Lastly, this can look like having a major psychological breakthrough or experiencing some kind of great emotional healing. Now, lastly, for the month, on the 28th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees, and it's in your 4th house. So again, the 4th house is activated for you guys. So this new moon is conjunct Saturn, it's conjunct Mercury and the North Node and Neptune, but it is also squaring Jupiter and Gemini in your 7th house, and it is fortunately trining Mars in Cancer in your 8th house. So a new moon is all about planting the new seeds, a new chapter that's taking place in our life in some way, shape, or form. So I repeat, this can be a new chapter when it comes to your family, your dynamics at home, your relationship with family members, looking at starting a family, looking at renovating your property, or at relocating, and potentially relocating interstate or relocating abroad because of the 9 degrees, which is the Sagittarius degree. For others of you, this can indicate that there is a new chapter taking place when it comes to learning about your roots, your lineage, and your heritage, or perhaps this is about you planting the seeds when it comes to maybe looking at farming, maybe looking at purchasing land, or working with gardening as well. Okay, so there could be a big focus on landscaping for you, especially with this trine to Mars in Cancer. So Sagittarius, thank you so much for tuning in to this horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And also, if you're wanting to see more content from me, you can purchase your 2025 yearly horoscope by clicking on the link in the description box below. Take care, Sagittarius, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. The month starts off with Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees. So this will be in your 3rd house, and it is occurring on the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world. Then on the 3rd of February, so just 1 or 2 days later, we've got Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees, also in your 3rd house. I want you to note that the Venus-Neptune conjunction will occur again in late March, and the Venus-North Node conjunction will occur another 2 times in April. Later in the month, we've got the Neptune-North Node conjunction, and at the very end, which is in Pisces, and at the very end of the month, we've got the new moon in Pisces. So your 3rd house is lit right up in February, and maybe it's because I'm a Gemini rising, but I love the 3rd house. I love this for you guys. There's such a focus on friends, education, your relationship with your siblings, with clients and co-workers, and it's a very productive time for you as well. The third house is all about educating ourselves, as is the 9th house, but the 3rd house can be like short courses. And anyway, I'm not going to jump the gun. With Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces at the very beginning of the month, this can indicate that you are going to be healing something with respect to a relationship that you have with a sibling, an extended relative, or perhaps a close friend of yours. And even if you're not necessarily reconciling, at the very least, to me, this looks like you're getting closure. where it's like, okay, I know where I stand with this person. I know where this relationship is going. I know what it has the potential to turn into. And ultimately, Venus and Neptune are all about love and acceptance. And so this is some kind of blessing that is coming through with respect to your relationships with siblings, extended relatives, and with your friends. Now, on a different note, this can indicate that you may be enrolling in some kind of course that is related to Venusian things. So maybe it's about something creative or artistic in nature, or maybe even about money management and finances and resources. On the 4th of February, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aries. So it's going to be transiting your 4th house for the next 7 weeks. And also please note that for the whole month of February, Venus is in its pre-shadow retrograde period, but the retrograde period itself will be taking place from early March through till about mid-April. Okay, so because Venus is going to spend so long in your 4th house, it is going to manifest something here. And Venus will bring something positive into the house that it transits, but when it has a retrograde cycle, it can throw a spanner in the works as well. So the 4th house is about your property and living circumstances. And so this can indicate that you are looking at decorating your home, entertaining, having guests over, sprucing it up, maybe doing something artistic in the home. Maybe you are enjoying more time with your family. Maybe you're looking at starting a family or expanding your family further. This can indicate that there is such a strong focus on your immediate family, whether that's you and your partner, or you and your children, whether you've got a partner or not, doesn't matter. Or you and your parents even. And also the 4th house is about your roots and your lineage and your heritage. So this can indicate that you're looking at reviving certain traditions into your family home, into your family dynamics. Okay, and maybe some of you are going to enjoy gardening or landscaping or doing something out in the yard. Now, also on the 4th of February, Jupiter is going to station direct in the sign of Gemini in your 6th house, and this will be at 11 degrees. So Jupiter has been retrograde for the past 4 months, since about the 10th of October in 2024. So when Jupiter is then direct, it can indicate that we are experiencing growth, progress, expansion, and just able to actually integrate whatever it is that we've been researching or studying, and then moving the needle forward in the house that it is transiting. So to me, this looks as though Capricorns are going to be getting better at, and you guys are already pretty good at this, discipline. So being more disciplined with your health, with your daily habits and exercise regime, any addiction or any self-sabotaging habit that you want to eradicate, you can. With Jupiter ruling over the 12th house, which is like, how am I self-sabotaging? What am I addicted to? What are my fears and insecurities? It now being direct in the 6th house, or the ruler of the 12th house direct in the 6th house, can indicate that you are understanding, how do I stop this behavior? How do I overcome these habits? How do I replace these habits with healthier habits? And also, the 6th house rules over pets. So if there's been uncertainty with your pet and the health of your pet or pets, this can indicate a positive turn in their health, or at the very least understanding, what are my options? What does it look like? Or what direction should we be moving in? What should I be expecting? Also, the 6th house rules over work and employees. So some of you may feel like your employees are being more productive once we get to early February onwards. On a different note, this can see you being more productive in your work, feeling as though your projects are moving forward, teams that you're working in or that you're spearheading could now be working more collaboratively together or more cohesively together. And ultimately, this can indicate that you are getting more enjoyment and deriving more meaning from being of service or from the work that you do in your day-to-day life. Now, on the 12th or the 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, there will be a full moon in Leo, and this is going to be in your 8th house. So this full moon is pretty tense looking. If you can see there up on the screen, it's making this opposition to Mercury in Aquarius, and then both the moon and sun and Mercury are in turn squaring Uranus in Taurus. So this is a super tense full moon, but it is making a redeeming aspect here because it is trining Chiron in Aries. Okay, so let me just preface this by saying that whatever the full moon is ushering into your life, it's for your best and highest good. It will be healing in some way, especially as it relates to your inner child or your relationship with a family member, okay, because Chiron is in that 4th house for you. So this can indicate that there's unexpected turns of events as it pertains to your mutual resources, what's happening with inheritance money, your sex life, your intimate private life. Certain secrets can come to the fore. So this can be something that you are discovering or that you are sharing with another person that can ultimately help you to become closer with another person. For others of you, you may be deciding that you need to cut certain people loose out of your life around this time, and that could come up as sort of an unexpected epiphany or realization. Okay, so on a different note, this can indicate that you are having a really big breakthrough when it comes to your own personal healing journey, whether this is with a psychologist or just your own introspective work. But again, this could be quite a revelation for you. And in any case, as I said, it is going to have a positive healing impact on you in the long run. The energy of this full moon can be with you 1 to 2 weeks before the full moon and 1 to 2 weeks after. So it's sort of smack bang in the middle of the month. So that to me would be the most intense time. Moving along though, on the 23rd of February, Neptune will conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 28 degrees in your 3rd house. This conjunction only happens every 16 to 17 years. The next one will be in 2041, and we will not see this conjunction take place again in Pisces in this lifetime. So it is very rare in that respect. We've already touched a lot on the energy of the 3rd house for you, but in a nutshell, the 3rd house rules over education, diplomas, qualifications, registrations. It also rules over vehicles. It rules over short-term travel, our siblings, extended relatives, friends in our local neighborhood. And also it is very much associated with business, sales, contracts, clients, co-workers, and our social media presence. Oh, and it would be remiss of me not to say communications. So there may be a new chapter that is taking place in one or more of those domains that's going to end up being a very big focus for you, especially over the next few months, with your 3rd house being activated again and again and again. On the 24th of February, Mars will station direct in Cancer in your 7th house at 17 degrees. This is going to be very positive for Capricorns across the board because Mars retrograde in the 7th house really has been stoking certain fires when it comes to tensions running high in various relationship dynamics. So this could be with your significant other, your spouse, your second-born child, your business partner. This can be client relationships as well. And so this can indicate that you are getting back onto the same page with your significant other, with your business partner, with your second-born child. And also this can indicate that you are able to proceed with important contracts, especially as it relates to your property and living circumstances, important contracts for your family. So maybe this is like personal documents, applications to relocate to another country, visas, etc., and anything that is related to your business, especially when it comes to passive forms of income. Okay, so lastly for the month, on the 28th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces, and this is going to be occurring in your 3rd house. So once more, we're discussing 3rd house themes, but new moons are about a new chapter and a new cycle taking place. This new moon is conjunct Saturn, which is your ruling planet, and Mercury and the North Node and Neptune. So this is about planting the new seeds when it comes to communications. So maybe this is to do with authoring a book, starting a new social media platform, or taking your social media channel in a new direction. This can indicate enrolling in a new education program, or even looking at creating that education program or course yourself. This can indicate that you are joining a small group or small team of people, and maybe this is to do with your career because we've got Saturn, or maybe this is with co-workers or clients, or you and a group of friends are looking at forming a small group together, and this could be to learn something new. Maybe you're looking at travel plans, or maybe this could be your involvement with your local neighborhood and community. So really exciting stuff to have this heavy activation of the third house for you guys. I've got no doubt that you'll be educating yourselves and learning something new, or committing to learning something new in the month of February. So Capricorn, thank you so much for tuning into this reading. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Lastly, Capricorn, just wanting to let you know that I do have my 2025 yearly horoscopes available for sale. Each one is 2 to 2.5 hours long. And with this particular horoscope for you, we go into a deep dive for Saturn in Aries in your 4th house, which is a new 30-year cycle, and Neptune in Aries in your 4th house, which is a new 165-year cycle. So if you're wanting to purchase your horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. In any case, enjoy your month ahead, Capricorn, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your 2025 yearly horoscope. The month begins with Venus conjunct Neptune on the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world. So this conjunction will take place in Pisces at 27 degrees in your 2nd house, and there will be another conjunction between these two planets in late March. Then on the 3rd of February, Venus will conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees, and it will make this conjunction another 2 times in April. So your 2nd house, I have to say, is really lit right up for pretty much the whole of February, and even a lot of March and April as well, because we do have other activations to your 2nd house. So ultimately, the 2nd house is about your finances, your resources, investments, expenses, your personal income. But then it is also related to your food, your diet, as well as gardening, farming, your teeth too, and your personal values. And in that way, it reflects your own self-esteem and how you nourish yourself. Okay, so to have these conjunctions taking place one after the other at the beginning of the month can indicate that you are looking at how can you nourish yourself better. And this is like across the board. On one hand, this is related to your food and diet, and perhaps even sugar income as well, and the ways in which you are overindulging. But on the other end of the scale, this can relate to your finances and resources. So on one hand, this can be about where do you not have boundaries with your finances and resources? Where are you overspending, but even overextending yourself? Because Neptune is generosity. So this can see you having to really assess how much of your money you are sharing around, how much of your money you are giving to other people. And it doesn't even need to just be money. This can also be your possessions and your valuables, your time, and even your advice as well, and your energy too. Okay, so on the 4th of February, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aries in your 3rd house, and it will be here for the next 7 months. So this is 7 weeks. So this is helpful for you in the sense that it is sextiling you. Okay, so the reason Venus is spending so long in Aries is because it is going to have a retrograde cycle. So it'll be retrograde in Aries in March, and then it'll dip back into Pisces, and then once it's direct again in April, it's going to start moving forward, and it will end up in Aries once more in May. Okay, so ultimately Venus wants to bring harmony, peace, and balance to the house that it is transiting. And wherever Venus is transiting, we enjoy whatever that house rules over, or we find a way to derive enjoyment and pleasure from it. So this can see you focusing on communications, maybe something artistic, maybe content creation. And for others of you, this can indicate that you are creating some kind of course or engaging with course content, or maybe enrolling in a course. On a different note, this can see you spending some time traveling locally, so maybe a weekend away, a few weeks here, a few weeks there, just short trips or even excursions. And this can see you enjoying time with friends, and perhaps even entering into new friendships, so meeting new people while you're out and about, or maybe even in your local neighborhood or local community. This can see your relationship with your siblings and your extended relatives improving on one level, or if they're not improving, this can see you understanding that you maybe are spending too much, let's say, time and energy focusing on these relationships that are out of balance. So you may need to really readdress certain family relationships, or even relationships with friends. On the 4th of February, so on the same day, Jupiter is going to station direct in Gemini in your 5th house at 11 degrees. So this is great. Jupiter is trining you from the 5th house, so this is really supportive for Aquarians. And Jupiter has been retrograde for the last 4 months, since the 10th of October. So since then, you may have been like, oh, why isn't life as fun? Why am I not enjoying this as much? Why do I feel so challenged by my children or my partner or my relationship? Where's the fun, the romance, the love? Maybe you've taken a break from dating. And ultimately, when Jupiter is retrograde, it's like the time where we're going through the theory, where things are not as fun, because it's like, I just want to see action in this department. But then when Jupiter's direct, it's like, okay, there it is. There's the adventure, there's the fun. And also the 5th house rules over starting your own business, or owning your own business. So some of you may have been working on starting a business, or launching something new in your business, or improving it in some way. And because Jupiter rules over your 2nd house, which is finances and resources, the last 4 months you might have been like, why isn't my business earning as much money? Like, where is the usual level of income that I have become accustomed to? Or maybe you launch a project and you were expecting more, and then once Jupiter is direct, this can really take off. Okay, on a different note, because the 5th house rules over children, this can see you getting pregnant or expanding your family further. But for others of you, this can see you maybe becoming a grandparent, or finding out that you're going to become a grandparent, or with the 5th house representing your firstborn child's 1st house, this can indicate that they are going on an adventure, or they're progressing in their studies or their education, or they're experiencing some kind of healing or blessing in their life. So something positive can be occurring in the life of one of your children, but if I had to say which, I'd say probably your firstborn child. Lastly, this can see you having more fun, because the 5th house is about fun, leisure time, and vacations and entertainment. So this can see you deriving more joy and having more fun in your everyday life. Now, on the 12th or 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, there will be a full moon in Leo, and this is going to be occurring in your 7th house. This full moon is very, very tense in nature, because look at it. It's opposing Mercury in Aquarius, so this is in your 1st house, and then it's also squaring Uranus and Taurus in your 4th house at 23 degrees. So this can indicate that some kind of unexpected event or conversation comes to pass around the 12th or 13th of February, plus or minus 1 to 2 weeks. And this can be with anyone, okay, because the 7th house rules over the other, all right? But let me put it this way, it's a one-to-one personal relationship. It's a direct communication that's being had, or conversation that's being had or taking place. So this can indicate that you're relationship with your significant other or with your spouse could be moving in an unexpected direction, or maybe they bring something to your attention which you find to be quite, again, unexpected, or you just didn't think that they had this like feeling or this point of view to share with you. This can indicate that a contract or a collaboration that you have with another person may be coming to an abrupt end, or they could be asking something of you, like trying to negotiate something that you're just like, it just catches you off guard and takes you by surprise. But it doesn't have to be negative. Okay, astrology never is all or nothing, all positive or negative. So I do want to draw your attention to the fact that the full moon is going to be trining Chiron in Aries, which is going to be in your third house. So this is a supportive aspect, whatever's taking place in terms of communications, and this is in your third house of communications, it's going to benefit you. Whatever happens as a result, it is advancing you in your life or in your relationship in some way, shape, or form that's going to be positive. So it could just be that things that have been left unsaid are finally coming to the fore. Or for some of you, it could be, someone exiting your life, or you exiting their life, and that relationship drawing to a close. So then on the 23rd of February, Neptune is going to be conjunct the North Node in Pisces in your second house at 28 degrees. This only happens every 16 to 17 years. So this is a new 16-year cycle that's taking place, as we will not see another Neptune North Node conjunction until 2041. And certainly we will not see another one in the sign of Pisces in this lifetime. So the North Node wants to bring something new to the house that it is transiting, and Neptune here can indicate that we are maybe having to take a leap of faith blindly when it comes to the second house. So this could be investments, finances, resources, etc. Looking at sacrificing one stream of income to make way for a new stream of income. And I'm going to focus more on your second house as we get to the end of the month when we've got the new moon there. But moving along, on the 24th of February, Mars will station direct in Cancer in your sixth house, and this will be at 17 degrees. So this can indicate that your health can improve, your energy levels can start to come back up. Maybe you have overcome some kind of habit or bad habit, perhaps, that you have wanted to eradicate from your life. This could indicate that you are finally integrating healthier daily habits and exercise regimes. And also, if you've had issues with your pets, these can start to dissipate from the 24th of February onwards. And the sixth house, of course, rules over your work and employees and day-to-day jobs and life admin and this kind of thing. So if work's been a challenge for you, things can start to calm down from the end of February onwards. If you have had disgruntled employees, then this can start to resolve itself from the end of February onwards. Any kind of problem or conflict that you've been experiencing for the last couple of months, so since early January or even early December, which is when Mars first entered the sign of, when Mars first went retrograde, this can start to dissipate, or you can figure out what's the solution to the problem. Let's work towards that. So it's about letting the steam out, and it's like the inflammation is calming down, so then you can work on the solution. Okay, so on the 28th of February, this is when we're going to have the new moon in Pisces, and this is going to be at 9 degrees in your second house. So new moons are all about planting the seeds for something new, so starting something new in our life. And of course, we've had 2 conjunctions there earlier in the month, and then the Neptune North Node conjunction just 5 days before. So really, the second house and its themes are going to be of primary focus to you over the course of February and even going into March and April as well, just because of the retrograde activity and the subsequent conjunctions there in Pisces in your second house. So long story short, this can indicate that you are generating a new stream of income, looking at building a solid foundation when it comes to an income, managing your finances and your resources better, maybe educating yourself on money management, as we've got the new moon being conjunct Saturn and Mercury in the North Node and Neptune. And this can indicate that you're putting budgets in place. Maybe you are committing to some kind of dental work or dental treatment. And this could even be earlier in the month as well with the Venus-Neptune conjunction. So this could be about enhancing your smile. So maybe getting your teeth straightened or getting them whitened, or just doing whatever needs to be done with respect to your dental work. The second house also rules over our food and our diet. So this can be looking at educating yourself about nutrition and food, maybe planting literal seeds for a garden, or committing to some kind of new diet for yourself where it's like you're making healthier choices, or maybe cutting something out of your diet. And also the second house is about your personal values, your self-esteem, and how you nourish yourself. So I really think that Aquarians are going to be making healthier choices across the board, and there's a lot of supportive astrological energy to help you with this plight as well. And the new moon energy can be with you 1 to 2 weeks before and 1 to 2 weeks after. So we're looking at about mid-February through till mid-March. So Aquarius, thank you so much for watching this horoscope. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Before you go, I will just let you know that I've got my 2025 yearly horoscopes available for sale. So if you'd like to purchase yours, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Each video is 2 to 2.5 hours long, so it's well worth a watch. It's well worth a listen. So much time and love and energy and effort has been put into the production of these. So thank you for your support, Aquarius. Enjoy your month ahead, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your February 2025 horoscope. Your sign is the most affected by the astrological energy of February. So let's just dive straight in. On the 1st or 2nd of February, depending where you live in the world, Venus will conjunct Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees in your first house. And of course, Neptune is one of your ruling planets, the other being Jupiter. Then on the 3rd of February, so just a day or two later, Venus will conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 29 degrees, and it will make this conjunction another 2 times in April. Later in the month, we've got the Neptune North Node conjunction in Pisces, and at the end of the month, we've got the new moon in Pisces. So first of all, the Pisceans who will be the most impacted by the astrological energy over the next 2 or 3 months will be those between 24 and 29 degrees Pisces. Nevertheless, I really think you're all going to experience massive changes in your life. So ultimately, Venus is the planet of love and relationships, and it represents our self-worth, what we value, as well as anything related to beauty, so hair, makeup, anything creative, anything artistic, etc. And Neptune is about unconditional love, forgiveness, tolerance, as well as boundaries. We do have to be careful not to allow the shadow side energy of having a victim mindset and boundarylessness and emotional manipulation to seep in. So this Venus-Neptune conjunction at the beginning of the month can indicate that new love is entering your life. And this can be for those of you who are single, or if you're already in a relationship, then this is like a new dynamic to your love life, a new dynamic to your relationship, which is beneficial, supporting, loving, and also this can see you feeling extremely artistic, very creative. You could be having incredible intuitive downloads around the first few days of the month in particular. And with Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces on the 3rd of February, and again twice more in April, this can see you in February, March, and April making some possibly controversial decisions when it comes to your love life and your relationship. So this could be who you're dating, or what you and your significant other are choosing to do with your relationship, whether this is getting engaged, moving in, starting a family, having an open relationship, whatever it is that you're doing with your relationship. Other people could find this to be quite surprising. And also your choices, your fashion choices, as superficial as it may sound, could be quite surprising to other people. So how you're dressing, how you're expressing yourself, haircut, makeup, piercings, etc. Now, on the 4th of February, Venus will move into the sign of Aries in your second house, and it will be there for the next 7 weeks. So for the whole month of February, Venus is in its pre-shadow retrograde period, and for Venus being in your second house for the next 7 weeks, there will be a big focus on second house themes for you. So this is like finances, resources, money management, investments, expenses, as well as your valuables and your possessions. The second house also rules over food, diet, our teeth. It is a creative house in astrology, and it also rules over things like gardening and farming, and then our personal values, self-esteem, and how we're nourishing ourselves. So because Venus will be in Aries for the next 7 weeks, and then it'll retrograde in Aries, retrograde in Pisces, and then eventually be direct once more in Aries in April, May, actually more so May. This is really the next 4 months that these themes are going to be coming up for you on and off. So this can see you looking really closely at, how do I manage my finances and resources? What am I spending money on? Where can I pull in the reins a bit? Or this can look at you wanting to enhance your features of your face somehow. So this could be with dental work or makeup or your hairstyle, how you're wearing your hair. Also, you could be looking at getting a whole new wardrobe and just presenting in a different way. And like I said, there can be a focus here on your personal values, self-esteem, and how you nourish yourself, and really advocating for yourself in this way. On the 4th of February, so on the same day, Jupiter will station direct in Gemini in your 4th house at 11 degrees. Jupiter is your other ruling planet. So we've got Neptune and Jupiter, and whenever Jupiter is going retrograde, direct, when it's changing houses, this impacts you personally and specifically because it's your ruling planet. So, good news to report here. Jupiter being direct in your 4th house indicates that your vision for your future, your decisions, your objectives going forward as it relates to property and living circumstances and family dynamics can finally clear up. So it's like, I know what I want to do with my living circumstances. I know when I want to move, where I want to move, what I want to buy, when I want to sell, or, this can be about rental arrangements as well. It doesn't just have to be about buying and selling. This can be also getting the green light when it comes to renovating your property, when it comes to building plans and expanding it further. But also this can indicate that things are calming down when it comes to family dynamics. And so if there's been some kind of discord with a family member, then things can actually start moving forward from early February onwards, although you may not be fully out of the woods until early June, because Jupiter will be in Gemini until the 8th, 9th of June. Okay, at which point it'll be moving into Cancer. So this can be about healing family dynamics, healing family relationships, maybe looking at starting a family or expanding a family further, or educating yourself about your roots, your lineage, and your heritage. And for others of you, this can be educating yourself when it comes to farming and gardening and so on and so forth. So moving along, on the 12th or 13th of February, depending where you live in the world, there will be a full moon in Leo and this is going to be taking place in your 6th house at 24 degrees. As you can see, it's making a pretty hectic opposition to Mercury and T-square all together with the double square to Uranus in Taurus. So it's activating the 6th house, the 3rd house, and the 12th house. Full moons in the 6th house can indicate there being some kind of epiphany or illumination or awakening moment that happens when it comes to our work, our day-to-day job, our health, our daily habits and routines. So because this full moon is so tense, this can indicate there being a sudden need to either eradicate a habit from our life or integrate a new habit into our life. So this is about doing what you can to support having higher energy levels, being healthier, and having more vitality. So there can sometimes be a shock to the system when it comes to, okay, I need to fully cut this out of my diet, or I can't do this anymore, or I just, urgently need to change something critical in my health or in my day-to-day life. And I'm not saying that to freak you out. I mean, look at this full moon. It's making a trine to Chiron in Aries. There's something healing coming in. There's something helpful that's happening with this full moon where it's like, yes, there may be a bit of an epiphany or a bit of a rude awakening that takes place, but it's going to support you. It's going to lead you to a healthier lifestyle on a different note, because it won't manifest for all of you when it comes to health. This can actually play out as a big change when it comes to your work life. So this can be that you quit abruptly, an employee of yours hands their resignation in unceremoniously. Maybe this is quite unexpected. For others of you, this can indicate that all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to do this for work anymore. I don't want to work in this industry. I don't want to work in this office. I don't want to work with these people. So it can almost be like a realization that takes place for you on an internal level, okay? Because we've got this opposition to Mercury in Aquarius in your 12th house that's leading you to make some important decisions about what are you doing going forwards. Now, let's not ignore the fact that the apex of this T-square is Uranus in Taurus, which is in the 3rd house. So ultimately, this is something coming to a head in terms of communication, a conversation, your relationship with a sibling, with a relative, or perhaps with a neighbor or a client, or it could be something that you read, something that you listen to or that you consume, because the 3rd house is media, where it's like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, or oh, I need to change the trajectory that I'm on to make sure that I'm on the right path. Okay, so the 6th house also rules over problems and conflicts. So this can indicate that there could be like a flaring up of something and then a very quick dissipation and then something heals, okay, because of that trine to Chiron. I really feel strongly that there's a quick rise in energy, a quick flare up, and then an immediate come down. And also I want to point out that Saturn and Mars are making a pretty close trine to one another in water signs. Okay, so Saturn and Neptune and North Node, it's all in your 1st house. It's all trining Mars and Cancer in your 5th house. So this is supporting you directly as a Pisces sun, moon, or rising. But moving along, on the 14th of February, Mercury will enter Pisces in your 1st house. Then on the 18th, Pisces season starts. Happy birthday to all you Pisces suns. In any case, this is positive for you because now we have all of this energy in your 1st house, so you can harness it, you can manifest what you want to manifest, you can affect important change into your life. And on the 23rd of February, Neptune will conjunct the North Node in Pisces in your 1st house at 28 degrees. Like I said at the start, this is a rare conjunction. This only happens every 16 to 17 years. So this is a new 16-year cycle that's starting for you. So this is about taking a new direction in your life. This is a new chapter. This is moving the needle forward when it comes to Cancer energy, because 28 degrees is all about family, property, living circumstances, your parents, your children, your childhood, what makes you feel secure, your land, your sense of safety and security in general. So this is about you taking a risk. Yes, North Node is asking you to take a risk. It's asking you to step outside of your comfort zone. Neptune is asking you to have faith and to trust. Neptune is also asking you to heal, to forgive, to let go, and to move on. It's time to move on in February. Whatever you've been holding on to, Pisces, whatever thing from the past, grudge, resentment, family, discord, or just even fear, hidden fears and insecurities, in February, you are being guided, encouraged, and asked to have faith and to move on. On the 24th of February, Mars will station direct in Cancer in your 5th house at 17 degrees. So this is positive for you. Mars is trining you. It's trining your sign. So things that have been frustrating you since early January, when Mars first stationed retrograde in Cancer, or even as early back as December when Mars first went retrograde in Leo, these things can start to calm down and start to dissipate. This can see there being an improvement in your relationship with your children, an improvement in your relationship with your significant other, an improvement in your love life, your romantic life, your sex life. And even if you're single, doesn't matter, this can see you feeling better about whatever position you're in, maybe wanting to get back out there, start dating again. This can see your sex life coming back online, okay, and improving in some way. On a different note, the 5th house does rule over owning your own business. So this can see you just experiencing less problems in your business and in the processes and the running of it. Maybe you're finally getting ready to launch a new business or to launch some kind of new service or product as it relates to your business. Also, the 5th house represents our creative gifts and our talents. So this can see you feeling more creative, having more energy to work on certain passion projects. And also Mars rules over sport, and the 5th house is sport as well. So if you've needed to take a break from exercise or athletic pursuits, then this can see you starting to get back on the horse, so to speak. Lastly, for the month, on the 28th of February, there will be a new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees. Okay, so if you look at this new moon, wow, it's conjunct Saturn, Mercury, North Node, and Neptune. So that's 5 planets plus the North Node in Pisces. So without a shadow of a doubt, there is a new chapter that's taking place in the lives of Pisces across the world, across the globe. So because it's in the 1st house, this is indicative of you planting the seeds for something new. So this is about you. What do you want? What direction do you want to go on in your life? What do you want to do with relationships, love, work? What legacy do you want to create? Where do you want to live? What impression do you want to make on other people when you meet them for the first time? How do you want to be known? How do you want to be remembered? And this can see you doing some kind of overhaul when it comes to how you walk, talk, act, dress, and how you just are, how you walk in the world and how you move in the world. And this is really supportive energy because the new moon is trining Mars in Cancer in your 5th house. Yes, it's squaring Jupiter in Gemini in your 4th house, but this is like, I'm moving in this way, I'm moving forward, I'm taking action, I'm planting these seeds despite where I've come from, despite what my family think, despite what my ancestors might have thought of these decisions or these actions, or despite what my cultural background would want for me or dictate for me. I'm moving in this new direction because that's what I feel intuitively inclined to pursue or inclined to do with my life. So In any case, Pisces, this new moon energy will be with you 1 to 2 weeks before and 1 to 2 weeks after the new moon. So we're looking at about mid-February until mid-March. So Pisces, thank you so much for tuning into this February horoscope. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And of course, I just have to quickly mention, I've got my 2025 yearly horoscopes available for sale. So each horoscope is 2 to 2.5 hours long. If you'd like to purchase yours, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. Enjoy your month ahead, Pisces. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you guys in my next video.